Who did you expect? Who did you expect? Who did you expect? Who did you expect? Who did you expect?
Welcome to the east side. We don't wait for doors of opportunity, we just wait on when we gotta kick them in. Decatur, Georgia, or a den of thieves. Hidden leaves just to feed the village. Hidden leaves make them feel like ninjas. Niggas always keep the metal tucked till you run up, get your face cut. Got your brukins on the back end. Know too many niggas trapped. They be stuck in genjutsu. They see the world from a different view. Shadow clones cause they silhouettes. Hard to point out when they robbing you. You never know what be inside of you. You never know who you be talking to. Till it's 2 a.m. on the east side. Black as shadows in the nighttime. They don't wait on nothing but the right time. He ain't come around the corner. Shots fired, that's a nigga down. Sad but this is normal around this town. I've been crying for my niggas found. I've been praying for my niggas down. Always looking for some progress. Try a nigga, he gon' regress. Locked and loaded that nigga ready. Turn your brains into red spaghetti. I be looking for God here. Hopefully see that I'm trying here. Save my niggas cause they really lost. Tell that my niggas before you write them off.
They say, Vic, don't you move on that side, boy. Both the crime rate and junkies stay high, boy. Scary niggas, they ain't see my vision. Now they see it, they want them to convoy. Stop by the corner store, know that it's kissing. Then let them watch windows punk gas for a bag of chip shot with the water. But no, they got size, I don't need no patchouli. I just want water. Star bitch with my brothers like Pops and Earl. We gon' turn Keller Road right into a Melrose. I might turn Wesley Chop to a motherfucking church. They got my people and teach them their worth. I don't need no appraiser, I'm no window worth for my property. They just sold out the cap, always a lot in the world, and I'm on it all like construction on this side. I'm taking my time, now it's 2 a.m. on the east side. Up as fuck, no, I'm writing rhymes. Late night, now the early morning, like an alchemist, I'm turning into something. Shots fired, that's your nigga down. Sad, but it's normal around this town. Cause I'm calling, say you beat the charge. He can't wait to come back around. Other cousin call, he almost out. Say he heard prices went back up. Confirm they gassed up. Tell him chill, though, cause we next up. People be looking for God here. My job is to teach them look in themselves. Say my niggas cause they really lost. Spitting for the ones that breaking off.
Who did you expect?
Biggest the what? Biggest the what? Biggest the what? Biggest the Super Bowl.
Niggas so thirsty, don't put me in beef. Dissecting my words and start looking too deep. I look at the tweets and start sucking my teeth. I'm letting it rock cause I love the mystique. I still wanna give me a song where I be. Can't trust everything that you saw on IG. Just know if I diss you, I make sure you know that I hit you like I'm on your caller ID. I'm naming the album to fall off. It's pretty ironic cause it ain't no fall off for me. Still in this bitch getting bigger. They waiting on the kid to come drop like a father to be. Love when they argue the hardest MC. Is it K Dot, is it Aubrey or me? We the big three like we started the league. But right now I feel like Muhammad Ali. Yeah, Muhammad Ali, the one that they call when they shit ain't connected no more. Feel like I got a job in IT. Rhyming with me is the biggest mistake. The Spider-Man meme is me looking at Drake. It's like we recruited your homies to be demon deacons. We got them attending your wake. Hey, how the gang got away from the bars, man. This shit like a prison escape. Everybody stepping, we fucking, and everybody breakfast, and I'm about to clear up my plate. When I show up, it's motion picture, blockbuster. The goat with the golden pen, the top toucher, the spot rusher. Spray this whole shit up, the crop duster. Not Russia, but apply pressure to your cranium. Codes automatic when aiming with the boy in the status of stadium.
Big as the Super Bowl, but the difference is it's just two guys playing shit that they did in the studio. Niggas usually send their verses back to me and they be terrible, just like a 2-year-old. I love a dinner with some fine women when they start debating about who the GOAT. I'm like, go ahead, say it then. Who the GOAT? Who the GOAT? Who the GOAT? Who the GOAT? Who you bitches really rooting for? Like a kid that had been from January to November, nigga, it's just you and Cole. Big as the what? Big as the what? Big as the what? Big as the Super Bowl.
She had seen me first to run to you, the first was a lie. She looked me dead into my eyes, she knew that I was a fire. I don't say much cause my vibe says it all. I don't say much cause my vibe says it all. I don't say much cause my vibe says it all. I can't lie, no.
She love the way I'm vibing. She love the way I'm vibing. She love the way I'm vibing. Yeah, I'm vibing. She love the way I'm vibing. She love the way I'm vibing. She love the way I'm vibing. Yeah. She like the vibe and see the aura switch up. I walk into the room and it's so bright now. Plant a seed and go and watch it grow. Water it and treat it what it's worth now. Pops told me I need to have some confidence. Always been a soldier, not a hoe now. Dance around how you really feel. It's a kickback, not a hold down.
Kick back, relax, you know, that's how we vibe. So I got patience for things that ain't worth people's time. Miley Cyrus, happy aura like white diamonds. I put my light in the shadow realm because I'm shining. Blind and these demons call that an eye for an eye. Cause you thought you had me cornered, but I got perfect alignment. Yellow hair, gold stone, purple in my ice cream cone. Red rose what I be on when it's my mother song. How you feel? Blues make you chill. How you feel? Red velvet make you heal. How you feel? Green get you bills. Back on chill life, old flats on them wheels, tryna make it to them Beverly's west side of them hills. Well, catch me riding, cause we about to go and slide. And you think I'm classy, cause first rate is what we be flying in. That's just how we vibe, man, we vibe.
She love the way I'm vibing. She love the way I'm vibing. She love the way I'm vibing. Yeah, I'm vibing. She love the way I'm vibing. She love the way I'm vibing. She love the way I'm vibing. Yeah.
Even with COVID, I plan on staying on my purpose. Can't be detracted from my path. I'm married to the game, whether through sickness or in health. Till death do us part. I keep my head high, my eyes dry, money in my pocket. Keep my eyes on the prize, laser focused on my purpose. Yeah, I know I had a time lapse. Dropped the tape some months ago. Questions about where I've been. People say they seeing ghosts. Always with the such and such. Talking to y'all so-and-sos. I pop out in a phantom for you. Show some signs of money growth. Used to see me in a hoodie. Still in a hoodie, bruh. I would wear a suit, but my hoodie hide my toolie better. Move with extra caution on the comeback so my come up better. Learn how to invest a check. 50 shares in family business. Learn to build my last name. My family need a legacy. Pops held the fort down. That's the man I'm trying to be. Keep it on 100, baby. Don't you try to lie to me. It take more than your good looks. I'm rising high society. She want the status and the money. It's all part of propriety. She get accustomed to a lifestyle and nameless ideology. This hasn't happened yet, but I know where I'm going. I know I'll be successful. I don't have much of an option. I gotta get there. This is the greatest comeback since Billie Jean King. It's the battle of the best, but everybody average to me. I can get a late start, quarantine and lose my mind, and I still find a way to outshine and outrhyme you niggas. I don't understand you niggas, always walking around like you got big nuts to itch, but you be fudging the figures. I guess it figures. Bravado only get you so far until real life start to show you who you really are. I hope you had fun in daddy's clothes when daddy was gone, but now daddy back in town so you can go and get gone. Go outside with the other kids where you belong before you get smacked up inside of my home.
What did you expect?
Why that girl on her phone, G? Never paid attention to the room or the homie. She just missed another opportunity, And I know that she lonely with no company, She's so busy reading text, she ain't even read the room, yeah. Always sending texts like I just want myself a little boo, yeah. I think I just went stupid, hit by Cupid. The arrow hit my heart, I hope she noticed, gotta read the room, yeah.
Learn to read the room, I really wish that you can read the room. I really wish that you can look inside of me, and I can tell you how I feel, little baby. Just learn to read the room, Read the room. Just read the room, Just read the room. Learn to feel that presence and that feeling in that mood. Just learn to go ahead and feel that moment too, Learn to read the room. Trying to talk to you was honestly so fucking strange. Trying to find a way that drove my brain to be deranged. I would've never thought I'd have this kind of issue. I couldn't connect with you inside of the same room. I know you feel me, at least I think you do. It's hard to tell, I cannot read the room. Seem to be unfazed, that's what you supposed to do. You seem so confused, baby, why won't you learn to read the room? I really wish that you can read the room. I really wish that you can look inside of me, and I can tell you how I feel, little baby. Just learn to read the room, Read the room. Just read the room, Just read the room. Learn to feel that presence and that feeling in that mood. Just learn to go ahead and feel that moment too, Learn to read the room.
I'll show you how to read the room, baby. Say you faded off that drink, I hit the road in Zoom, baby. Project nigga section 8, I never had a spoon, baby. She says it's rated, this movie coming soon, baby. No, I ain't worried about your boyfriend, he ain't like that. See me, it's on sight about that pussy, he gon' fight back. He gon' risk his life, I beat him up like go down my path. But your bitch want me, so it ain't my fault that you tried that. Oh yeah.
Learn to read the room, I really wish that you can read the room. I really wish that you can look inside of me, and I can tell you how I feel, little baby. Just learn to read the room, Read the room. Just read the room, Just read the room. Learn to feel that presence and that feeling in that mood. Just learn to go ahead and feel that moment too, Learn to read the room.
Yeah, everybody think it's a game. Yeah, everybody think it's a game. Yeah, everybody think it's a game. Boy, I ain't playing no games. No, boy, I ain't playing no games. Yeah, don't nobody know about the late night, early mornings with no sleep. Don't nobody know about the low time we ain't really had nothing to eat. Don't nobody know about the time we had to ride around without tank on E. Don't nobody know nothing but me. Don't nobody know nothing but me. Don't nobody know about the grind that it took. Don't nobody know how many times we put ourselves out there and got overlooked. Don't nobody know our pockets was low. Don't nobody know they think what they know. Don't nobody got love for a man, especially when a man hitting it low. Everybody got words of wisdom. Who putting in the work though? Everybody wanna get a trophy, but you ain't make it to the ship though. Better stick to your sailboat. I know you love to ride away. I see you really love to follow. Trendsetters over here though. Whoa, everything seem like a game until you get played, yeah. Everything seem like a game until you get played, yeah. Everything seem like a game until you get played, yeah. Everything seem like a game till you get played. 2K, pat me the pressure, I handle the rock. Stay on the ground till I shoot to the top. Harder than lava, I fire the op. Stay back and shoot, my heart is just hard. I don't miss nothing, my shot can't get blocked. Bust in your face like I'm Curry on God. My mentality, win at all costs. Snakes in that grad, had to cut a few off. Keep my head low, my focus is people. The confidence is key, don't let haters get to you. Critics always wanna say something negative. I can't mind them, I know that I'm better than them. I just know I got that grind for my team. Take the title on me, be MVP. Once I do, I'ma show on the king. Finger to the left, so quiet my demons. Everything seem like a game until you get played, yeah. Everything seem like a game until you get played, yeah. Everything seem like a game until you get played, yeah. No. Everything seem like a game until you get played.
Welcome to a Wednesday night edition of the Aaron O Show. Shout out to everybody been in the building early. It is time to start the show. It is time to start the show. All right. First, water. More water. And shout out to the lovely Miss Doris in the building, holding it down. I will say this before we get to the show, I must acknowledge the sponsor of the last show, which was none other than the we're gonna call him the cyber bully himself, Mr. Jack Knock It Off, the ghost of Jack Knock It Off. Shout out to you for being the sponsor of the last show. Now don't come around doing that again today. All right. So shout out to Jack one more time. And let's make sure we get into the show. All right. I've been gone for a minute and I'm back. Okay. I've been gone for a minute, but I'm back now. All right. I've been grinding. As y'all can tell. Can't y'all tell that I'm in grind mode right now? Y'all can't tell? Never mind. Don't look. It's these lights flashing on my eyes. What we gonna cover today? The men were correct, and we are here to prove that today. The men were correct. Okay. I know they didn't want to believe it, but ladies, I just want to help y'all see the light. Okay. The men were correct. And by default, because of them being correct, men continue to be leaders by default. Okay. So we're going to touch on that as well. Okay. But before we get into the show, there's a couple things I wanted to cover that I thought was interesting. A couple things I wanted to cover. The first thing that I wanted to cover was for some strange reason, there's a woman that's going around the internet acting up. And it has caused a lot of outrage. And I think that it's time that we, as the people, we do the right thing and corrective actions should be taken at this point. All right. I'm not familiar with this young lady, but she came across the social media wave. You know how that goes. Hey, Vanny Roo. And she's causing quite a stir. And I think it's appropriate for us to look into the things that have been transpiring from her and see if there's something that we agree with as a people or if we find this to be something that we do not agree with. Okay, so without further ado, I will show you guys the video I was reviewing, and you guys tell me what you think.
They have been posting these videos on social media with a caption saying, leaving a donation. Kingologists,
okay,
what do you say about this?
One of the very first things that I teach when I do any kind
of... But look, it's in the food section.
Why are you putting it in the food? It's disgusting. So it's something that I teach. It's called informed consent. Okay, It's one of the...
Now, at first glance, I was thinking, I said, I'm a man. I should not. No, it has nothing to do with that. Let me just be honest with you. Man, they do anything for clout. They will do anything for clout. Tea Leaves, what up? They will do anything for clout. It's scary how people can get away with this stuff. It is extremely scary. So comfortable. Nobody around them stopping them. Nobody around them being outraged. And a full camera crew to record this. Now, I have to tell y'all that I don't know if this is illegal or not, but I would assume that it is. Anything that's done in the food sector where citizens are at risk, I think it's illegal. I don't think you can tamper with people's food, things like that. I think it's highly illegal. I don't know the laws, so I can't be definitive on that, but I'm pretty sure that it is. Okay. The fact that she can get away with this at multiple stores, multiple locations, and smile and giggle is amazing to me.
The most important things with kink and fetishes, you have to tell people what you're doing. You have to get their informed consent, which means they know what's going on. They know all the details about the fetish, about the kink, and then they can make an informed decision whether or not they want to participate in that kink or that fetish. This has no consent. This is literally somebody being disgusting.
Now this one frustrated me here. All right, because I didn't see this one's frustrating to me. The reason why that is frustrating is that, are you going to pay for my gas with that? Because, see, I would be highly less offended if that came with free gas. If I'm like, oh, she about to pay for my gas. Cool. That's not what's happening. And just the comfort level is insane. The comfort level is insane. I would be, you know what? Let's just be honest. Nothing's going to happen. She's going to get away with doing this. She's going to get more publicity. She's going to get more people interested. I have no idea who she is. Don't care. This is being covered by Fox News in Houston, right? So I have no idea just how far she's willing to go to get views and make money. I'm guessing she's making money from doing this, because if you're not making money, this is really sad. This is some pretty sad stuff. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Flow State, be love. How you doing? It's not a good look. But they gonna continue to let people like this get away. There's a few guys I've seen outraged by this. A couple influencers, guy influencers, that were just not having this. So I think that's probably why it kind of started to hit the mainstream, because there were some people upset with this. Loso, what up? So I think that was part of the problem. I don't know. What do you guys think? So are you guys disgusted by this, or do you think this is just more clout for the internet, more clout for
and taking something that is a personal hygiene issue and making it public? A kid could pick that up. That's in a bread aisle. That is going on.
Dang, that's crazy. And she got the white toenails. Look, what did I tell y'all about women in white toenails? Didn't I tell y'all you got to watch them? Any woman that got the hot white toenails, they want to go on vacation. So that's number one. You know they want to go on vacation. But you can't trust. They're a little ghetto-ish. You know, like the white toenails is very ghetto-ish. So you shouldn't be shocked at this behavior, okay? You shouldn't be shocked at this behavior. You know, it's very ghetto, okay? You just got to watch them. You just got to watch them, all right? So next time you're out getting some gas, make sure you check and be, you know, just to ensure that your location have not been tampered with. This lady has not made it to your area. The next time you're in the bakery, which is crazy to say, by the way, because I know you guys like a croissant, one of those cheese croissants maybe in the morning when you go get your Starbucks and all that. Well, be careful. Be careful everywhere you go, because people like this is getting away with tampering with your products. I don't think there will be any action taken against her, but it would be nice. I'm gonna be honest. It would be nice to start seeing people get held accountable for some of these actions. Honestly, guys, it would be nice to see people actually get in some type of trouble. There's some type of repercussions behind their actions, so that we can really start discouraging these things. Because let's be honest, this is going to be a trend, and somebody else is going to start this trend. Oh, that's the new trend. So I'm not going to sit here and over exaggerate and say she should do like 2 years in prison and nothing like that. But, you know, 30 days, I think it takes about a month to create a habit. So it probably take about a month to break a habit, right? So lock up, give her 30 days. I'm pretty sure after 30 days, she not going to want to do this no more. I think 30 days is a good wake-up call. And we can make the city, the county, and a little bit of money for about a month, okay? A month's worth of income, just to kind of discourage this type of behavior. And ladies, if this is the type of thing y'all support, now I can't be mad at y'all, because y'all looking for freedom and you know, all those rights that y'all looking for. So I don't know what to tell y'all, okay? Now, remember, last time I was on the show, I decided to start a nice video of some lovely young ladies And it was this video. I remember this video. It was all the ladies, Miss California and all those ladies, right? So I wanted to be consistent, okay? I didn't want to just show that video. I wanted to, you know, continue to show trends. Is that Miss Minnesota? Okay, so continue to show trends and things like that, and start to use more wide range things, if that is the correct language to say, right? And I found another video, you know, to keep up with the trends. And yes, get rid of those white toenails. Get rid of those white toenails. Absolutely get rid of them, okay? It's ghetto, okay? Put a design on them. You know, be distinctive. Disassociate yourself with them white toenails. Just stop it, okay? We've had enough. We know y'all think y'all exotic for doing that, but you're not, okay? It is ghetto, and we would like you to stop. Just like the last lady told us, we don't like y'all beards. Y'all need to get rid of them. Well, we don't want to see no more white toenails. I'm done with them. We don't want to see them no more. Like Birdman said, I don't talk no more. So that's it. I don't care what you got to do. Use that nail polish remover and get rid of them. I don't care how you got to get them off. Soak them. Whatever you got to do, they got to go, okay? Because you got representation like that previously, okay? Then let's keep the show moving. Let's get to the next video, okay? Because we got the lovely ladies here all over the Americas representing, but they are not the only women, okay? We got women everywhere, okay? So we got to be consistent, all right?
Attitude. Now walk out, okay? Attitude. What? Now walk out. Attitude. Ooh, now walk out. Okay? Come on, Tay. Attitude. Wow. What? Walk out. Attitude. Now walk out. Attitude. What? Now walk out. Ooh.
Walk off.
Attitude. Wow. Now walk out. Attitude. Wow. Now walk out. Wow. Attitude. Oh.
Which version do y'all like better? Do y'all like the more normal version, or do you guys like the star-studded version of you know, the pageant winners? Which one do you guys prefer? You know, gotta have a nice wide range. Nice wide range there, okay? So I figured that's the one you guys would like. Don't be too picky now. Don't be too picky now. Okay. Now, one more thing we got to cover before we get directly into the show. Okay. One more thing we got to cover before we get directly into the show. You guys are familiar with an artist named Chris Brown. Okay. He's a Grammy award-winning, Grammy nominated superstar. Okay. One of the very, very best that we have out. They say he's what is his birth sign? They say he's a Taurus by birth sign. Those Taurus tend to be extremely valuable people, and if you're able to get your hands on them, you know, you better hold on to them tight. But Chris Brown, he's been starting a wave with his pictures and all that, right? And so I came across a video of another young and up and coming rapper. I think he is a rapper. I don't know how you say it in your language, a rapper. And he did something I thought that was interesting enough to bring to you guys' attention. Okay, I just want to know. I'm not overreacting. This is a legitimate question. Okay, legitimate question. Just want to know. Okay, totally legitimate. I just want to know y'all strong opinions. Okay, his name is Fredo Bang, okay? And he did a meet and greet. And in this meet and greet, there was a girl with her boyfriend, and they took a picture and did a video, and this is what came up.
All right. You want a picture? Baby, kiss me on my good side. All right. You want a picture?
Now, I'm not the type of person to overreact. Not me. I don't overreact. Is this like, what is the right way to describe this? Is this harmless, like Orchid said? That's just harmless. This, to me, that's crazy. No, they don't, Shiesty Bum. You stop it. No, they do not. You know what's even more crazy? You know that's crazy. That's crazy work, right? He dapped him up after. That's what hurt. That's what hurt my heart. He like, yeah, because for the meet and greet, you probably had to pay like $500. How many of y'all have actually been to a concert? I've never gone to a concert anywhere in the like traditional or formal way that they do it, so I don't know. But I'm guessing you need backstage tickets to do a meet and greet or some type of access card, or right, something like that. Okay, and I'm guessing it costs money, right? You guys can tell me, I don't know, $300, $500, whatever, maybe even $1,000, but that sounds like Chris Brown ranges. So that's too high for him, but you never know, all right? Because you are the market these days. My question is this. You don't think that's crazy that your girl will have to pay for those backstage passes or the meet and greet, and then you gonna go dap up the dude that she paying to do the meet and greet after he kissed her on the cheek? Call it whatever you want. You don't want no other guy walking up and down the street to get you on the cheek. So that must mean it's not formal pattern behavior. If you don't want just any guy walking up and do it, you allowing somebody else to do it means something. So I'm just wondering, is that the new norm? Is that where we headed to now? Is what we need to look forward to? A bunch of women idolizing celebrities, paying them to interact with them? Is that the new thing? Is that what y'all need to expect as a husband, a boyfriend? Like, this is what it is now. This is what the new thing is. Like, I don't know how to describe it. The fact that he dapped him up afterwards is crazy to me. Like, dang, because he like, yeah, bro, we all good. But you know what? This is the type of things that you guys let happen. I don't know how to feel about it, to be honest with you, because I'm not a jealous person. But you can't pay. You cannot pay for no meet and greet. And you got to just meet them randomly and get a picture or something, and then I'll be cool with that. But you to pay for a backstage passage, early access. No, this is not cool. This is not cool. Now, people think that that's overreacting, but I don't think that's cool. I don't think that's right. I don't think it's right. Anyways, I can't believe they still getting away with doing this stuff. But you know what? Who gonna check them? Who is gonna check them and their bad behavior? Who's gonna check them in their bad behavior? Now, here's another thing that recently came to my attention because I was listening to a transcript of a earnings call from a corporation, and it was from Lyft. Are you guys familiar with the company called Lyft? They are considered to be rivals to the company called Uber, in which they offer delivery, transportational services, and some other things that not as important, but those are two primary businesses, okay? The mobility business and the delivery business, okay? So this is the question here. Are you guys familiar with Lyft and Uber, okay? And the question is, if you are familiar with them, what is the purpose of that business? Can you guys tell me? What is the purpose of that business? Can you guys tell me the purpose of the business? Because I'll tell you what I think the purpose of the business is. To deliver said customer from point A to point B. Okay. And in that process, you charge for a service. When services are rendered, you are accommodated for it. Okay. Now, to my understanding, you pretty much need a driver license, probably a decent to clean background, some technology access, and for the most part, the car, of course, and then you would be able to utilize these businesses, right? Because they're somewhat recognized in most states as a independent contractor, kind of, sort of, right? It's a very new style type business with technology involved. I think it's an amazing business model because they've taken something so simple and they've moved it to scale, right? That's how a lot of people get rich at scale, right? So if anybody's wondering what the heck you got to do, you need to learn how to scale any business, scale, and have demand, and you will get insanely rich. Now, easier said than done, but that's the general process of it. Okay. The ghost of Jack is here. He says, I blame Tea Leaves for all this. This is his fault, yo. This is Tea Leaves' fault. I do agree with that because Tea Leaves said, I would take my girl to the concert and I would absolutely let her pay some guy to take a picture with him. Yeah, we blame Tea Leaves for that. Okay. Shout out to Jack. Now, the reason I bring this up, right, because I have a interesting take on this, and I want you guys' honest, truthful thoughts, because when I heard this, I was a little bit taken back. And this is something that we're going to have to kind of break down together, right? So let me pull it up here. Here we go. This here is a representative from Lyft discussing women drivers with women passengers, right? This is what it is.
Let's create a feature where women drivers can choose to be matched with women riders and vice versa.
Now, that's the only thing that I want to talk about. Lyft has a feature that allows drivers to select the so-called gender in which they want to participate with, right? And initially, right, it seems like innocuous, right? It's like, okay, that might not mean anything, right? So I have a feeling where I know what women are going to say about this, right? But in my mind, I'm thinking, this is somewhat a dangerous precedent to start to expand on, right? In a vacuum, you think, oh, okay, I mean, you should be able to pick your driver. To me, it's a little bit problematic, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm not going to read the whole article or go through the transcript and things like that, but Orchid kind of said what we know what the default thing is. Women feel safer, right? Women feel safer, and that's the reason why. So let's break that down for a moment, okay? There's some level of discrimination in this, right? One, it's a difficult business model to try to match up. And by the way, they definitely utilize their services. I want to say something. Uber and Lyft is a highly utilized business. People use it all the time, multiple times throughout the day. These businesses are going to generate a significant amount of profit, a significant amount of revenue. I know that Waymo, which is the basically company controlled by Google or Alphabet, they have been making more money, and they're probably one of the very few that actually can generate revenue with no actual driver in the car. So I see this all the time on my way to work, where even on my way home, I'll see some of those Waymo vehicles where there's nobody in the vehicle, where nobody in the car, and they actually are authorized to drop people off from point A to point B and actually make money from that. And pretty much they're the only ones that can do that with no driver in the car at this time. My issue here is that if Lyft is offering a feature that is select a woman driver, and the women are saying they like it because it makes them feel safe, right? Now, I'm not trying to blow things out of, I'm not. But my thought process is, to me, when it comes to fair business practices, it's all about your ability to do the job, right? Let's just be honest, your ability to do the job, right? And the reason why it gets dicey, and I'm going to tell you why, and it's probably something, Orchid, that you didn't think about. So let's probe a little bit and see if you think about it like this. The problem that I have is that there's no reason why you should exclude a guy from picking you up to drop you off from point A to point B, solely based on the fact that they're a guy. That's very dangerous waters to start tampering with, in my humble opinion. Because it should be based upon qualifications and your ability to do a job. Because if we start to expand the thought process of safe, right? Just start to expand it, right? If people said, you know what, I don't want any homes, anything that are built by women, I don't want to purchase it. Anything that they build, I don't want to purchase it. I don't feel safe. I don't think they're as good as the men at being engineers. I don't think they're as good at creating safety, because it just makes me uncomfortable to know that they built something or that they were in charge of this product. So if they have anything to do with it, I only want an all-man produce project, or all-man produce something, this, and that, right? Do you not realize how scary that could be? Where it ain't the fact that she's not a good engineer. It ain't the fact that she's incapable of the job of getting from point A to point B. It's the sole fact that she is just a woman. Now, maybe y'all don't think that's a dangerous precedent to start expanding on. But if you start to think about it and you start to put it in other arenas, you will start to see that this can become very problematic over time. This can become very problematic over time. One, it's not actually a smart business model because you don't even have enough drivers. That's one. But you don't want to start opening that door, right? In my opinion, I think it's a bad idea. You don't want to open up that door. But at the same time, it's their business. If people want to deal with it, it's cool. But I think if you start to take that thought process, that model of feeling safe, and start to expand that to other businesses, that would be problematic. That could be very problematic. Or Orchid, by the way, I know that I see what you're saying, but also men can do those things to men as well. That don't make you safe. I hate to tell you. That don't make you safe. It just doesn't. But I'm just saying, if you really take it off just the surface level of just this business and start to expand it into areas where women have not historically occupied these jobs. You see what I'm saying? Let me give you another example. Let's say you want a website built, but you contract a company to do it, but you tell them only your male developers can work on my website. I don't think the women have the ability to do so. I'm telling you, it starts to go down a line that I think is dangerous to expand. I really, really do. But it's something that just caught me. I'm like, don't get me wrong, I'm not ignorant, right? To the point of why I think that people like women would want that. The problem is it starts to unravel some dangerous things in other industries, other places, So I know we kind of have some situations where this exists, like when it comes to like the medical professions, where if you don't feel comfortable with this person examining you, you can request a such and such. And I get that, of course, especially to a degree, because I think even then, if you get a little too in depth, that could be problematic. But I just think that a car, so you telling me from point A to point B, you're going to start identifying gender for that. I think it's going to become problematic, especially if we start to expand other areas and where this could impact. It's my humble opinion. That's just what I think. I think the world will show us the differences. Okay. Jack says male drivers and drunk, passed out female passengers is nasty work. I've heard the stories. Women are being harmed by the strangers who take them home. So, yeah, Jack, you crazy. I would say this. I've heard the story of that one lady that did not make it home, I think. And I seen the video, but I'm telling you this, same thing happened to the guy drivers. They will try to rob anybody. But here's the thing. I think this allows for like somewhat of more targeting, right? Because if you think it's easier to target, I just think I don't know. I don't know the proper way to do this, but I just think they're opening up a can. I don't think they're going to be able to put the genie back in the bottle, okay? I just don't, okay? Jack says it sets a precedent to allow sexism to fester. Pretty much, it already exists, don't get me wrong, but when we start having companies start to lead with this and that, it can become extremely problematic. It can. But we'll see. It's something to keep an eye on. I'm starting to see this stuff will start to trend this way and trend that way, and more issues will arise, in my opinion. Okay. Now, let us get to the business. Okay. Ladies, the men were correct. Ladies, the men were correct. Okay. I know y'all didn't believe it, but you're going to start believing it. Fellas, you tell me if y'all remember this. Do y'all remember that there were women who were getting college degrees at much higher rates and frequencies than men were? The rate they were dropping, and the ladies started to kind of talk about how that makes them better because they're getting more degrees. Men are dropping out of school. They're more educated, and just little subtle stuff like that. Like I remember that one video I was listening to this one lady say, and she eventually kind of brought it up. The video kind of made me cringe a little bit. I ain't gonna lie, but I remember. I don't know. You remember this lady? Let me see. Let me pull it up. Y'all remember this lady? Now, she started talking about men, especially black men in particular. And this is what she said. I don't know if you guys remember.
Well, here's the thing. Black women have a shortage. We already don't have that many black men to choose from. Y'all be in jail, broke, don't have no money, don't aspirations, which is like even worse. Like at least if you broke, be going somewhere, be going to college, you have some plans or something. And then don't be as educated as black women. So now we have like a very small quality group of black.
The key thing is this. I don't mind all of the words that she was using here, whatever, right? But it's they don't be as educated, right? And so remember, there was this big old wave about education. I got a degree and all these things that were like going very viral and conversations and things like that, right? And then if you guys been paying attention, women in particular have kind of changed tune when it comes to college degrees. They have been clearly more outspoken about how they feel deceived and how they're drowning in debt and how their degrees are worthless and how they can barely survive. They're barely making enough money to survive. We talking nurses saying this, a bunch of ladies in particular discussing what they are experiencing after going to college. Remember the one like double degrees with the Asian lady. We played many videos about that discussion, right? And the thing that they were saying is, why are the men dropping out? Why are the men quitting? Why are the men quitting? Like, why are they dropping out? And then the whole thing, blue collar, white collar, all of those things that were transpiring, right? And I know the men remember it very, very well, just like the ladies do. And it's really so interesting to me as I sat back and reflected on exactly what was going on, right? It just hit me. Guys, as crazy as it sounds, the men were just being leaders, silent leaders, not leaders in relationships, just leaders. And it started to make sense of why women are yearning for leadership. I want a leader. I want a leader. And for the longest time, like, do it yourself. Well, you do your own life. But I figured out why the frustration exists so highly with women, so highly with educated ladies, etc., right? Recently, we came across an article, and in this article, it discusses that more women are skipping college to make money, six figures, whatever you want to call it, as electricians, car mechanics, truck drivers, etc., right? And this particular article goes on to discuss a individual, in particular, young lady, that pretty much works on cars. You remember, I ain't changing no tires. Look like you changing tires to me. It looks like you changing tires to me. Am I wrong, fella? Can y'all see that? Can y'all see this? This lady is changing tires. Do y'all see what I see? Yeah, okay. So they changing tires now, right? Now, the key thing is here, almost 16% percentage jumped up, okay? They are skipping college because the Americans are owing nearly $2 billion in student loan debt. And young people are questioning the benefits of a traditional bachelor's degree, and they're opting to work with their hands, okay? In particular, Gen Z has been dubbed the tool belt generation, okay? As we know, the majority of trade workers are men, but a growing number of young women are opting to work with their hands, okay? Victoria Carl, in particular, 25-year-old Albany woman who owns her own car repair shop, okay? That was misquoted. It said show, but it meant shop, okay? This is the young lady here. The name of this particular Shiesty Bum, you don't not change no tire, okay? The name of her particular business here is Carl's Advanced Automotive and Truck Repair Center, okay? Now, we understand that sometimes you don't want your name on the business, so, you know, you got to do what you got to do. You know, like if I open a business, I'm not going to call it the Aaron O restaurant. I'm going to call it something so y'all know I don't own it. So that way I can make the prices be what I want and y'all won't be trying to get no discounts. Y'all know how y'all do, right? So she ended up getting this business. She operates it, okay? The reason why she did it is because someone told her she couldn't do it. That's what she said. And at 21, with a 50% investment from her parents, she took over the shop. Now at age 25, she has 4 full-time technicians and is close to generating net sales of roughly about $1 million. Roughly about $1 million. So what you're seeing is this. And I don't know, sometimes it takes us a long time. A broke man and a broke woman they the same thing. He broke, you broke. But a broke woman doesn't view a broke man as on her same level. She's like, you still beneath me. I know I'm broke, but you a broke man. So you ain't supposed to be broke because you a man, so you beneath me, right? It's a strange concept. It really, really is. But that is how they view. If they're doing the same exact thing as you, it's better if they do it. Now, I know it actually sounds crazy thinking about it like that, but I want you to really take that in and think about that concept, right? The men that they laughed at, okay? The men that they laughed at, the men that they pretty much talked down on because the men had lowered their home ownership because they were like, this stuff ain't making sense. The men that were dropping out of school at record rates, the ladies laughed at them and said, you're not as educated as us. That's what they said. Why are you quitting? Why are you giving up? That's what they said, right? And you know what happened? After the leaders that are the men, decided to forego college, subsequently, Arlise is here. Hey, Arlise. Arlise says, union proud. Shout out to the unions. Shout out to everybody and look, I support every hardworking individual, every person that has a job that's trying to do what's in the best interest of their family and not trying to harm anybody else in the process. You just trying to make ends meet. I have a ton of respect for people like that. I don't care how much money you make. I know how hard it is to forego doing things that are of less honor, less character, less respect, to keep your dignity, honor, and navigate a difficult life in order to try to put food on the table for your family. So I will never talk down on anyone who has a job. I don't care how much you make. It's not for me to judge. I just appreciate you not running into nobody else's house, not trying to take from somebody else. You're trying to provide for your family in the most honorable way that you can. And it's always going to be respect for those people, always. Because there are other people that choose a lifestyle that will just forego respecting what you have done and decide to take what you've worked so hard for. And I think that is the coward's pathway. Okay. Now, the leaders that are the men, Shiesty Bum, and I'm going to tie it for you, Miss Shiesty Bum, of why this exists. What you subsequently see is the leaders that are the men who have dropped out of college at the fastest rates, the men that, and yeah, tea leaves, I mean that all the way from the heart, like every single day. I deal with all kind of people, man, but let me stay focused on the task. But shout out to tea leaves. Shout out to the lovely Arlise Kimberly. Yes, Fiend's gonna be mad. Okay, so yeah, those man, like every time I see Arlise, it just brings like the original days of the early Fight Club, the early days when we was really connecting, like on like a super deep connection. But anyway, let me stay focused on the show. So the men that were the leaders, that are the leaders, they said, we leaving college, we done. And the women laughed at them. The women said, oh, y'all can't take it. Y'all, we bypassing y'all. We doing all of this, right? And the man was like, whatever. And they dropped out. Now you see the women saying, well, we gonna forego college too. You know what they not saying? The men were correct. See, the leadership thing is like a limited aspects of your man. You want your man to be a leader. But men been leading in society for a long time. And I know why they have. And you're not going to like it, but the truth is the truth. They dropping out of college. You said, oh, I'm going to drop out of college too. And that's what you're doing. Now y'all trying to find alternative pathways that men have already done. Okay? Already done. They've already done these things. The thing that they did colleges already, they did degrees already, And if you got a degree, you thought the same degree that a man got. If you got it, you thought yours was better than his because you're a woman and he a man, and you're not supposed to have a degree, and he's supposed to just because he's a man, which makes no sense in today's society. But that is what came out of y'all's process. Okay, that's how y'all treat people. We know it. The men see it, and we know what y'all up to. Okay, now the men dropped out. We see in articles that in the double digits that women are dropping. Women are foregoing. Women are getting into the trades now, right? Women are getting into the trades now because they realize, oh, that's what the men were doing. That's what these blue collar brothers was doing when we was laughing at them. And we was laughing at a plumber saying, oh, but he cleans toilets for a living. Now y'all starting to see the value of being plumbers, being electricians. Now you're starting to see the value of that. Here's where it gets a little bit dicey, though, okay? Here's where it gets a little bit dicey that we have to touch on. Okay, Jack says, I like how food tastes better when someone else cook. Yeah, so like how food tastes better when someone else cooks it. I don't agree with that necessarily because sometimes the food tastes better if you cook it. If AL was here right now, AL tell you he a better cook than all the ladies he's ever dated. That's what he'd tell you. Now, I don't know. Okay. Jack said, disregard that last super chat. Nope. Jack, we don't disregard no super chats unless they a little disastrous for the channel. Okay. Says, I may have misheard your point. You absolutely might have, sir, because I'm building it up. I'm creating it right now. But what I want you to understand is that men continue to lead. And at first I was frustrated too, because I was like, man, why aren't the ladies that leading their own life? They got their own. It hit me. I'm like, because they can't create a pathway that men have not already created. They cannot create no new industry. They cannot create a pathway that the men have not already walked through the fire for. And so then it starts to make sense. Now, mind you, we hearing the crying and complaining about college. Okay, got you. We get it. Then y'all going into the trades now. Y'all trying to find alternative pathways to degrees in college debt. The thing that the men were doing that y'all didn't understand at the time because y'all thought the other thing was the way, and y'all finding out it ain't working. You're finding out it ain't working. And I think that's part of the problem, right? So some lady I was talking to today, okay, before I get into that, Brownsville's in the building, okay? I normally don't acknowledge any New Yorkers outside of my top 4 New Yorkers that I like, okay? It's only about 4 of them, all right? But I will make an exception for you, okay? Brownsville says, peace and love to the GBG kings and queens. Rim brothers are bad leaders. All they do is complain. Weak men complain, strong men solve problems. Actually, I kind of agree with that, but I think lazy people solve a lot of problems. And I don't think lazy people are necessarily strong men, but I agree with your general sense because I know what you mean. Yes, strong men are the ones that you want to hedge your bets on. But it will shock you the amount of weak people that can come up with a solution. But I understand the point of you saying I have no problem with that. That's you and your battle with the R.I.M. brothers. And however you can destroy them, good luck to that. I'm intrigued every single time y'all have y'all sparring sessions, okay? But I actually don't think men complain a lot. I actually think men are quiet. I think the large majority of men are actually quiet and they don't talk. What happens is the small amount of men that are on social media, which is a very small amount of men, those men start to get magnified as if they are the majority of men, and they're not. Most women are in relationship with guys that have no social media presence at all. All they have is an Instagram, and they might talk back and forth on there. They don't go live. They don't do videos. Most women are not dealing with guys that are complaining on the internet. Let's just be candid. They have a boyfriend or a husband that might have a social media access, but they don't actually do video content. They don't do audio content. This is a small amount of men that have the ability to do so or actually do so. Okay. So shout out to Bville one more time because I don't necessarily disagree with your main point. Okay. Ghost of Jack says, here Bville go again, hating from the clouds, shaking my head. Nah. He wasn't hating from the clouds. He's just speaking his mind. Okay. Brothers from New York, they don't bite their tongue for nobody. I don't know why, but they just don't do it. And you know, it might be the family or something. Okay. Jack says, F that. We checking out. No more slave labor. Yo. So to that point, Jack, to that point, the men have already run that pathway of school. We got out of there, man. That stuff ain't working for us. Men quickly realized that the game of life is very tricky, and most of us gonna lose, and it's almost impossible to win. That's the one thing that men have quickly identified and adjusted to. But there was this young lady I was speaking to. I think she was like 23, maybe. And she said, well, men make more money than women doing the same job that women do. And y'all know the whole gender pay gap and all that type of crap, right? And that's already been struck down and already been disproved in so many different ways. But she was not being disingenuous is probably the word. I think she would good faith. She was the conversation was in good faith. She wasn't just doing it just throw out. She probably really thought that that's just the case. But when you get to the factors of negotiation, things like that, women not speaking up more for, like, I literally know a woman, right? She was applying for this management job, right? I talked to her. I said, yo, I will literally walk you through the process, how you can ace this interview, and then I want you to negotiate your pay. This is what she told me. Well, I'm scared. I don't know if I should do that. What if they don't give me the job? That's what she told me. Like the mindset. And I'm like, and it's just the natural apprehension to not feel qualified enough or strong enough to demand or hold your target or know your market to actually request this. And it's been proven that men tend to do the negotiation a little bit more than women and other factors, et cetera, et cetera. But whatever the point, Google, Apple, Meta, all of them have kind of done their own studies, and they found that in a lot of the cases, the same amount of years, same job, women tend to actually out-earn the men. But that's nor here nor there, right? The point being is the men have said we see this game, right? We see the game that's going on. So they talked about that. And then this young lady popped up on my feed, and she was aggressive in her statement. So I will let you listen to it. Don't let the blonde hair throw you off, okay?
Gender pay gap doesn't exist. Women just choose lower paying jobs. Welcome to dumb shit people say I can disprove in just under a minute. So you often hear people say that women earn less because they choose lower paying professions like teaching or nursing. And while it's true that on average, these jobs are lower paid today, that wasn't always the case. Before women were allowed to have jobs that require qualifications, it was men who occupied all of the professions we considered as feminine today. For instance, nurses used to be exclusively male, but then as women started to move into these occupations, they began paying less. And that's also confirmed by the largest study on this topic to date, done by Paula England. In some professions, wages declined as much as 57 percentage points when they went from being predominantly male to female. In some others, they declined by 34 or 21. So no, women don't choose lower paying jobs. Jobs become lower paid when women take over a previously male-dominated field.
There you go. That is her strong position, that women don't choose low-paying jobs. Fields that men dominate that were paying well, when the men leave, okay? Because men got to get up out of there for many reasons. Because this is actually a decent point, by the way. This is actually a decent point. And nurses were definitely male-dominated. And now we obviously see the flip. So, like, it's a decent point, right? Here's part of the problem. Okay? Although I agree, what she said as far as the male-dominated fields, right? And then men exiting it. There are more factors to that, but let's just deal with the main point, right? It's not true. It's just not true, especially not true now. So, like, even if it was true then, it is not true now. Just not true now. What industries do women actually dominate? That would be what? Maybe social arts degrees. I'm joking. So maybe education and healthcare to a degree, right? Specific fields like nursing, not neurosurgeons and things like that. They don't dominate those things because that's much harder to accomplish, and they may not want to go through school as much, and for whatever other reasons. And I could say many others, but let's just give that being that. All right. Modeling is actually a very good point. They always win that one. But the point being is that I think it's primarily just demand and technology advancements. Some jobs, the technology lowers the value for a lot of jobs. I'm sorry. It just does. But the problem is, why do you think the men's exited those fields in the first place? And why do you think that if the fields are so valuable, you can afford to pay them less? It just does not make sense. Nightish, what up? It just doesn't make sense. And not in present time, right? Even if you look at sports now, right? Remember when women played no sports? Remember when women played no sports at all? It was just men. That's a man thing. We don't play sports. We play with our dolls and get our nails done. Now you got Dwayne Wade doing his nails. You got that famous sprinter doing his nails. You know, I'm not saying they're coming to dominate that field, but I'm just saying, if we just being honest, it's changed. So if you're looking at the sports sector, right? I saw this young lady. She was talking about sports here. Where is she at? Let me find her. I don't know this lady, but maybe one of you will recognize her. Okay. She plays most likely one of those soccer sports, right? I don't know. Looks like she may play soccer. It says here, I don't earn enough to retire after my playing career, so I'm still aiming to complete my accountancy studies in case I need something to fall back on. Can I ask y'all a question? This is my question, right? Is the salaries for female sports players going up or going down? They are going up. They are going up. Whether it's the WNBA, whether it's soccer, whether it's tennis, it does not matter. They're going up. They are not going down. They are going up. Now, the problem with this is that it has nothing to do with men not being just as good at their sport, because they just are as good, and their pay is not going down. It's actually accelerating. How money works is not based upon the fact that you work in an industry like nursing that men dominate. They paid the men $100. The men leave, and then they pay you $57. Something doesn't add up there, but it is what it is. My guess is you're probably less qualified, less skilled, and in a lot of jobs and a lot of businesses, what they do, and anybody that knows, when you have senior positions, what you do is this: you lower the qualifications, right, that previously existed, and you offer those jobs to other people at lower amounts. So now I had high qualifications to get this job. So for the men to be nurses, you had to know this, that, this, and that, and I would pay you this. Now I got some technological advances. I don't need this information. So now I can remove this from the requirements of the job for nursing. So now I can offer this job to women and say, you ain't as qualified as the men actually are, because we remove these qualifications, but we're going to give you the job. That's just one of the ways they can lower costs. Just even if you look at Fortune 500 companies, they will give you a exit package, and they will reclassify that job, slightly change what the job does, change the job title, and offer it to somebody younger for a lower amount. So, i.e., a manager is a supervisor. Well, we don't have managers here at the job. We just have supervisors. We just changed the name, coordinator specialist. So it used to be manager. We have a coordinator specialist here. And then we just lowered the pay and took away some of the responsibilities that we've offloaded to somewhere else. Lower the offering amount. Just little things like that is what they do. Little things like that is just what they do, okay? Now, I need you to understand. I just need you to understand. When you have the men that are the leaders, what you find is that the ladies are finding out that, dang, the men were correct. The men were correct about college, and now the women are following suit. Now, here's what's going to make it even worse, right? No, let me read the super chats that came in before I tell you what's going to make it even worse, all right? Because it's going to get even worse, okay? Jack says, yeah, women make $1.25 for every man's $1. Boo-hoo. Yeah. So, it's always about it. Come down to the money, okay? Jack says she's not wrong. Inflation turned 1 million into $100,000. Yeah, that's how inflation works. Silent inflation is how you get destroyed, though. Silent inflation is how they get you. Jack says, I would hire all women if I owned a business, if I could pay them less than a man to do the same job. Yeah, you can't. It's actually illegal. I know they don't understand that, but it's actually illegal to do those things. It's actually illegal. But when it's just the same thing as narcissists and disingenuous. The second you present a word to the internet, it just, the storms be coming in. So they saw the studies of how much money men make by taking the calculations of all the money that they make, dividing all that, and they go, oh, we get paid less. And they've been running with it. But the point being is this. Now women are running over into the space of trades. Now remember, the men have been kind of quitting on the trades. They've been like, man, like the trades, it's cool, it worked. But the men have already realized that this game is rigged. This game of life is really rigged. And it's really, really difficult to win. If you don't have the right opportunities, you don't live in the right city, you don't have access to resources, what you'll find is the men are like 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 years ahead, right? And so when women thought that the education was going to free them and the men not getting education, they thought it was weak men. You men are weak. You can't do college like we do it. No, we can't sit in that classroom no more. We can't just do that. We need to be active. Oh, that's just weak. Now they're going into the trades. And what you're going to find out is the men are not going into the trades as much as they used to. Why? Because men realize that this is a losing game. Women will come into the trades, make some money, and then they'll realize we still getting screwed. We still can't buy this. We still can't do this. We still can't get the American dream. And they will follow the men into whatever other pathway the men choose to go. Because what women have done is they've effectively just copied the blueprint of men. They have not created new industry. They have not created their own unique thought process. No, nothing. All they actually have done when you actually peel back the layers is copy exactly what men do and just follow them a couple years behind. That's all they've actually done. Even if you look at the money that they make on like those OF pages, that is an old profession. That is an old profession that has existed for millions of years, right? Probably not millions because we haven't been on the planet for that long, depending on who you talk to. But let's just say thousands and thousands of years, okay? Nothing new, nothing creative, nothing unique. It's just a pathway in which what men created, and they're just following. So men did the college. they follow the college. Men did the nursing, they follow the nursing, etc. When men drop out of doing the laborious jobs, they will follow suit. Their frustration is men have not picked another pathway yet. Men have not decided, well, what we going to do after this? D, what up? They haven't decided. So we dropping out of college because that stuff is tricks. That stuff is rigged. We dropping out of the trades because we know that stuff is rigged. It ain't really working. This game is so messed up. We see what the people with money are actually doing with this game to us, and we don't want to play. And so what you find is that men are just, I quit. We don't want to play at all because we know ultimately, right? And this is what y'all have to understand. Ultimately, quitting and not doing nothing is the actual only way to defeat the game that we're playing in life. Remember when I gave y'all the analogy that it doesn't matter how much money anyone has if the people are behind you? This is why politicians really don't care about being billionaires so much, because they realize the power of the people is more powerful than money. And most people know that. So you could never hide your money anywhere from the people. You could never have value without the people playing your game. So the rich, filthy rich people that are playing the game, they can't win unless the broke people like us play the game with them. Now, the men have already said the only way to win is to do absolutely nothing. We're not showing up to work. We're not mopping. We're going to do nothing. And of course, what will happen is the women will say, why are the men quitting? Why are they giving up? Because we've done this pathway before. We've done the college. We've done the trades. The truth is we know how ruthless the world is and how difficult it is to actually break this game, this cycle that they actually have people playing in. It's very, very difficult. Okay, it's a very difficult thing to do. And let me bring Brownsville up. How you doing, Brownsville?
Peace and love, my brother. Give me a second.
Take your time. I just want to make sure I acknowledge you. I'll finish my thought. And this is what you guys have to understand. I get it too. I've told y'all this before. The men at the top have monopolized the game, right? So they are going to win because they're at the top, and everything flows back up to the top. Now, once we quit and we say we're not doing none of those jobs, if the women say, well, we'll do the jobs that the men don't want to do, that will prolong the game. Right? You see what I'm saying? So the women are like, okay, we're going to do all these jobs that the men are doing. Now, they may pay you less or whatever you want to argue it, but it will continue to get the game to be played until ultimately y'all follow the leaders, which are the men, and realize the men been telling us this from the jump, from the get-go. They haven't necessarily been talking to us, their actions of them not doing, quitting, not pursuing, willing to say no. If y'all don't copy that and y'all give the formula that y'all doing, y'all gonna let them stay at the top even longer. This is why women are frustrated, because you are going to have to innovate. You're going to have to do something that's never been done, that the men have not done for you, to create a blueprint. And that has not effectively been created or done. And we don't know if it can be done. So the frustration of follow the leader is we don't know what men are doing now because they said we'll quit, which is the ultimate trump card that you can have in this game of life when you realize we all been cheated. That they all rule, the rules is up. We realize what they've done, and women are realizing it too with the student loan debt and things like that. They're just a few years behind the men. Unfortunately, I don't know how many years, 5 years, 10 years, but they'll prolong the game long enough to where we'll have a market crash, people starving enough, and then they say you got to play, and then they'll re-engineer the game over again. So that's what I see transpire. What do you think, Brownsville?
So peace and love, my brother. Peace and love to all the kings and queens in the chat. You know, Aaron, no, I don't necessarily disagree with your overarching point, right? I've made that same argument, in fact. I think it's a known fact that history would tell us that women have always naturally acquiesced to how men are moving, right? But I guess my question to you is, right? And we hear it all the time from these rim brothers, the same type of argument, right? And you know, you would know it very well because you run the asylum where these guys come in this space and get this type of remedial rhetoric off.
That's Sharon's job now. I've given that torch to Sharon. He runs the asylum now. We already talked about this. He got the asylum now. I'm free.
Okay, well, nevertheless, right? My question to you is, what is this fascination that these rim brothers have, or we should say men have, of being right, right? What is this fascination that these brothers have with competing with women or comparing themselves to women, right? As a man, if you were right, so what, right? Why are you gonna throw that up in a woman's face, right? Oh, I was right today, babe. Who cares? That's not going to solve any issues or problems, right? No, men need to stop being so, because it's coming across as if we're living in an era where men are just more insecure, where men are wanting to move into this soft guy era, this house husband era, this weak man era, right? To where they've reduced or deduced themselves down to just putting themselves in position to compete and compare themselves with their own women, right? And also, they have a discombobulated value system. And I'm gonna give you a specific example of this, brother Aaron. And I know that this part that I'm about to say is not necessarily part of your show, so I'm gonna be real quick with it, right? Sharon, as you described, he's now the asylum owner, right? He had a show just the other day where he talked about the 4 horsemen of divorce, right? So he was giving the brothers and sisters some advice on what to look out for or what to avoid so that you can stay in a healthy marriage, right? And he was giving out those 4 tenets, and a brother came up by the name of BMU, right? Who's a certified rim brother. He got up there, right? And he says, well, hey, Sharon, is this based on the Bible or is this just based on humanity? And Sharon said, well, you know what? It's based on humanity. And he said, well, if we basing it on a Bible, the first thing we need to be telling people is that women can't deny their husband's sex. That was the very first thing he said when he brought up the Bible. And then people get upset when I say men need to recalibrate their value system, remove sex, lust, and degeneracy from the top of their value system, replace it with God, add some more values underneath that, and sex and lust and all that can go on the bottom, right? That shouldn't be the first thing that you want to offer when you're involved in a conversation where you're trying to provide a solution to a problem, right? Oftentimes, when I listen to these men, it's either one or two things happening, Aaron. Either they are criticizing women, comparing themselves with women, or competing with women, or 2, they're just talking about sex. That's the issue that I have with these rim brothers. To that, what do you say?
Yeah, I listen to what you say a lot. And I happen to be agreeing with a lot. You don't have to be right. And I agree with that. The distinction that I have in this conversation is this is not based upon relationships. Most of the conversations that people are having when it comes down to leadership are relationship, man, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, etc. I'm speaking to the operation in society. The men that work, they're not in a relationship, but the women see them, compare, compete because they're out in the workforce. And they have been saying, well, why aren't men doing these jobs? Why aren't men doing these jobs? So I'm highlighting the reason why they aren't, because they're leading, they're ahead, and the women are telling the men, Y'all don't know what y'all talk about. Y'all are wrong. We the new leaders now. And so the reason the men have to be right is because the women are combative to the conversation. And we have to acknowledge we have to coexist in society. After we get done with the jobs, after we get done making money and things like that, we have to coexist in society to some degree. And that it's the need to be right in a relationship is kind of crazy. I would agree with that. But being right about wages, things outside of relationship is very important to push that conversation, because you have to wake people up. You cannot be silently correct. But even with men doing this, quitting in silence, they're not acknowledging, I'm quitting college. They're not doing that. They're just quitting. They're just quitting jobs. They're not acknowledging. They are being highlighted and recognized and being to demean to a point so that others can uplift themselves over them. The second men dropped out of school after being the highest rates of being in college, they were told, well, you're not as smart as us because we're getting degrees faster. So you do kind of have to respond at some point. I think it's a human thing.
But Aaron, no, the issue I have with this is, my brother, listen, I don't hear the woman saying per se, well, hey, you guys are wrong about X, Y, Z, right? What I'm hearing from these queens is, well, why are you telling me this? Why do you think it's imperative for me to know that you make $3,000 more than me? Why do you think it's imperative for me to know that, oh, well, yeah, we were dropping out of college and now y'all are dropping out of college, right? What the queens, the ladies and women are saying is, we with you, my brother, but instead of complaining and trying to tell us how you were right, why don't you show us your productivity? Show us your ability to compete with other strong men, right? Give us that type of a blueprint. Give us that type of a solid example. And then you won't hear nothing from them. And see, Aaron, no, I'm sure you have personal experience with this, my brother, because I've engaged in several conversations with you. So I know not only are you an intellectual, but you are also a confident brother, right? And naturally, the queens, the ladies, the women, they're going to naturally gravitate towards that confidence, right? And I'm sure when you're on a date or when you're just in casual conversation with the ladies that you interact with in your real life, you're not hitting them over the head with, well, hey, didn't I tell you that the woman was dropping out of college too, following the men? Well, didn't I tell you that we were making $3,000 more a month than you were, or a year, or whatever? You're not engaging in those types of conversations because you know, Aaron, that that's going to quickly be a turnoff, because the first thing the queen, the lady, the woman going to look at you and say, why do you think you need to be in competition with me? Why do you think you need to be competing with me? Why don't you show me the gladiator in you? Show me the leader in you. Show me that you're somebody that I can depend on, right? Because that's what they naturally want to gravitate to. To that, what do you say?
That is what they naturally want to gravitate to. I would agree with that. The problem that I see is that in this society, we are in competition with women in the workforce. Now, it's not on the personal level where in your mind you're like, yeah, I gotta beat her out for this job. But they are in the jobs that we are actually in. They might be your direct supervisor in a lot of these jobs. And if you want to be a supervisor, you got to take this person's job. So the women that are they're pulling from experiences that existed with men were not in direct conflict with women in jobs. We're in a different time frame where women are occupying jobs at similar rates than men do. I don't believe at a tech firm men are arguing about women there because there are not a lot of women there. But when you start to put more and more women in a space with men and they have some success, they believe they are just as adequate or just as skilled or just as valuable, or if not better than men are. Scary enough, just doing the same job, same credentials, it's kind of like a broke woman versus a broke man. Broke women believe they're above broke men. And it's kind of scary, but that's how their mind works. So you should not be out and about walking up to women, having conversations about, hey, you know, men make more money than you, because that's kind of crazy. But if women present an idea that you know is factually wrong and that you're like, nah, we should correct that, then I understand men doing that too. I think we're in a different era. I think the men that want to hold on to the strong macho thing in this, they have to just produce their sons to do that. All they have to do is be those men, produce their sons to be those sons, and grow them up that way. Totally fine. But if not, you're going to have to deal with the ones that are not. That's just the facts of life.
But Aaron, no, I see, and this is the thing, right? Because, you know, some of the things you just said, I kind of agree with, but those other things, I think is kind of disingenuous. Like when you said that that broke women believe that they're above broke men. I don't believe that's accurate. What I believe is happening is broke women believe that they shouldn't have to follow broke men. And I totally agree, right? Because in order to get someone to follow you, Aaron, and I'm sure you know this because I'm sure you've been in situations of leadership. We can even take it off of relationships, right? Beyond just having a title of leadership, you know, you got to build some type of trust, right? You got to be an effective communicator, right? You have to set a good example, right? You have to instill confidence and have the ability to teach or train, right? Those are the things that encompass a good leader, right? So when you got this broke dude coming up to a broke female saying, well, hey, you need to follow me. She like, where am I going to follow you? To the welfare office? I'm not trying to follow that. And then these same rim brother, no good sucker dudes that you're talking about, they'll come on your platform and they'll say, well, these women don't want to follow me. They believe they above me and they're disrespecting me. They don't want to submit to me. Well, my brother, and this is where you come in, Aaron, because what I need the strong men to start doing is giving these men some positive examples of your real life experience, right? Because I've heard you say, Aaron, you're not experiencing life the way these rim brothers are experiencing life. But
true,
you're not, but you don't feel like it's important to impart your wisdom onto them in order to kind of for them to change their negative mindset.
Well, well, the thing is, because I'm in agreement with you, I'm actually all for that. The problem is the men that I think women are identifying at a time frame were broke men. That we were the most married in the 50s and 60s. We didn't have no money. We didn't have no money back then. So it's not men with money that they desire, right? The problem that I have is that if women have choice, and that's one thing that they do not want taken away from them. They don't want their fathers picking their husbands for them. They want to make their own decisions because they have to live with it. My humble opinion is if you are offered choice in this world, you are offered consequence. Choice directly evolves with consequence. So if you want the freedom of choice, you must take the consequence of it. I don't think a woman should have to deal with no broke man if she don't want to. I support that 100%. But their actions are saying that's not what they want to do. I personally think we've never lived in an era where there was an equalized amount of men that were equally strong, equally successful. There has always been a wide range of successful men, middle man, and bottom man. Now, they all have desires to have the men at the top. As long as they say, well, we just gonna share. And I'm sorry, you guys, we not messing with none of you broke guys. We just gonna share the man's with the money, then fine. But don't mess with a broke guy because the man with the money, well, he gonna cheat. Well, I'm sorry, you don't get to have your perfect life. You have to, if you are in dependency of something, you have to operate with the options given to you. And the options that they said, I've dealt with men with money and they ain't that much better. They just not broke. So if that's the case, their choice is share the men with the money so you never have to deal with a broke guy, which they don't want to do, or make your bed and sleep in it. And that's what they're doing. They're deciding to mess with guys that don't have money. It is very clear and evident to figure out a person who don't have money in this day and age. It is not that hard.
But Aaron, no. And see, and this is another example, right? To where I think you're being a little disingenuous. Because why are we only giving the queens, ladies, the women two choices? So basically what you're saying is they either have to choose between the rich degenerate or the poor Pookie or Ray Ray. That's not true. But Aaron, no, that's not true.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, right. So if the queens are saying, well, hey, a lot of these rich men, they have a discombobulated value system, right? What strong brothers should be doing is telling these men, hey, it's good that you figured out a way to become successful financially, right? But that's not the end all be all. You got to add some balance to your success, right? So why don't you recalibrate your value system, right? Because you don't need to be a cheater, right? You need to figure out what you want. If you want to be in a committed relationship, then you need to not only communicate that intention, but also follow that example, right? And have some self-discipline, self-control, and some loyalty about you. Or if you're not ready to be in a committed relationship, then why don't you be committed to communicating that intention when you meet women so that they don't get messed up?
Okay. Brownsville having some technological issues, which gives me a good time to get into these super chats. Jack says women should only get paid for what they good at. Well, they got a app for that. Jack says men who see the system try and leave, but they are either shamed or coerced back into the game. When men see the rigged game, they play, but they end with a vice, an addiction, or they self-delete. Shaking my head. We see what's going on, Mr. Jack. We know we're in a losing game unless we make it to the top, which we know it's not a lot of slots for that. How the game of life is set up, it's not a lot of slots for that. Okay, Jack says drop Bville for trying to get men to be productive. Oh, he can try all he wants. So life will be lifing. Okay, Jack says men don't compete with women who aren't their rival. I'm sorry. I don't think men have a personal competitive thought, but they do realize they are in a world where jobs exist and women have access to compete for those jobs. He don't get to say, well, just because you're a woman, we're not competing. I'm sorry. They're competing. That's just the facts of life. Okay, Jack says, I'm not dying for the one depriving me a box, yo. No, you probably should not die for that, okay? Jack says Bville is wrong. Women should be ruling the world. Well, they will be voting for the new president real soon, so don't worry. Jack says when you're told you're useless and a predator by nature and evil, men see the end game but don't see the point. If a man winning hurts women, why do it? Yeah, that's a tough one right there. Jack says, how aren't men letting women win just cuz? How do we know men aren't giving women wins to compensate? Are women excelling? Yes, but where's the bar? I would say this, Jack. If the men do what Brownsville has requested and start to raise their standard, what you'll find is that they're going to outperform women and women can't have jobs. To a degree, right? Like if you really think about it, that's what's going to happen. My thing is this, though, Brownsville. I have no problem with your desire to get men to become better people, to have better character and all those things. I just also believe outside of like trying to take someone off the planet, if your desires is to mess with a bunch of women because you have found a level of success and you don't think you should settle down with one, and women have proven that they know you're not trying to settle down, you did not lie to them, they still gonna mess with you, This to me, this is just my own personal opinion. You may disagree. The standard for like the way you should carry yourself, women have always led in that standard. Women have always been the standard of that's a lady's going to conduct herself as a lady. And it usually was above the conduct of men. Men's conduct was never better than a lady. She is a lady. She is above those activities. She ain't going to do that because that's what men do. So the standard of women is invisible. It does not exist. And we telling men, you get standards, but we don't know what the standard of a woman is. And there is nobody enforcing or wanting the desires for women to uphold a standard. They no longer have to uphold a standard. What they have to have is an option to be this, an option to be that. We are advocating for men to uphold standards that they never actually have ever done. There are standards that women have held that actually made men see the value in women and go, dang, man, I can't believe this is why men thought women were amazing, right? Outside of just their physical prowess, which women are complaining about now, right? When a woman conducts herself as a lady should, a man got to go, man, I can't. She just different, man. She just conduct herself. I just have to respect it. That doesn't mean a man's going to do everything a woman wants, but he actually has a higher level of respect for a woman that conducts herself. Men know that when you sagging your pants, there are some women you just can't talk to. There are just some women that, you can't meet that threshold, right? So men know that I'm going to have to pull up my pants if I'm going to approach this woman. The standard has got real low for women, okay? We arguing that they get pookies everywhere they go for a reason, okay? The Dating Pool Roast React says, finally, a man on YouTube says the truth. Y'all never going to get the top slots. Understanding your place makes you happy. Take the medicine. That is your lot. Well, here's the thing. The game of life, there's a mental component as well. Some of us can play in that arena and some of us cannot, okay? I just think we need to get back to getting the standards of women separated from the standards of men. I just want one time for men to say, this is what the standards of women to be, and this is what the standards of men to be, right? But what I hear is, who cares what women are doing, but you still want us to deal with them? Who cares what women are doing? You still want us to be better so women can get better men. Who cares what women? No. Women have to have a set standard to society as well. Me and Cheeky has asked it. What is the standard of society that you want to be responsible for? You know what the answer is? Crickets. They don't want to produce the children. They don't want to uphold being ladylike. None of that stuff. So I'm sorry. The men have always been more reckless and less. I don't know the right word to use, but I think women have always upheld a higher standard than men, especially when it came to sexually and conduct, and tact, and things like that. Women have always been the standard for that. At this point, I don't know if that's the case.
But see, Aaron, no, the issue that I have, right? Because now you're doing a little bit of double talking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you started off your show declaring, hey, men were right, and we are the true leaders, right? And we've already established and agreed to the fact that throughout history, women has always acquiesced to the leadership of strong men. We've already established that. You agreed to it, and I also agreed to it, right? So if men are the leaders, right, then they are also supposed to be the standard bearers, right? Because a leader, right, has a greater responsibility, a greater sense of duty, a greater accountability, right? So we can't declare ourselves leaders and then come back and say, well, now we got to follow the standard of the follower.
That's not what I said.
Issue. That's the issue that I have with what you're saying, Aaron. You didn't say those exact words, right?
Well,
what I'm saying, Aaron, no, that's how your words came across, right? Because you said, well, women have always been the standard bearer when it comes to XYZ, right? And I can easily challenge that, right? Because brothels have always existed, right? Prostitution isn't something new, right? Certain things has always been, because that has been the appetite of men, right? And so if that is the man's appetite, and if we've already established that the women are going to naturally acquiesce to that man's appetite, it'll be completely disingenuous to then come back and say, well, hey, woman, you need to straighten up and get out of them brothels, get out of them strip clubs, get out of them tight clothes.
You said a lot, so let's get some of these challenges down. Leadership is not the totality of life. So I may lead General Motors. I'm the leadership of the architect of how we operate cars. I am not the leader of McDonald's. My leadership is to the peer view of car making. The men's leadership is under the leadership of what he leads in these specific areas, not in all aspects. He does not have to lead in every single aspect. He just has to lead in these aspects. Women were leading or setting the standard in many aspects. When you talk about brothels or that type of work being something historically done, here's the biggest difference. Those women were beneath the other women that were chaste. Not they were treated as so, spoken to as so, and socially treated the same. There was almost never a case where women that were working in that type of business were going above women who did not. So if you're going to pull historically, those women were not excelling in life. They were not giving roles of leadership in Congress or things like that. They were beneath women who held a standard. Now the line is blurred. Now, if we say, hey, we're going to treat these women less than, don't do that. They're still human. There's a defense there when it never was a defense there. Now, you have to concede that's the facts. Now, for the men, I think what has existed still exists. The men that were running things at the top still do it now. The difference is the rest of the men have finally said, we just gonna quit. And it's frustrating women because what they've experienced in life has transformed. Society has got to a point where we're like, dang, we're not at war no more. We got a lot of time to think on our hands, and women are navigating a new role, a new position in life as it's been expanding and expanding. And how they deal with it is very difficult. And the men are having trouble dealing with it as well. That is what we're seeing happening right now. But as far as the leadership, yes, the men are the leaders by default because how they navigate in society. And I'm saying the women are just following what the men do because they say, well, the men do it too. Well, a man did everything they're doing for the most part. A man has done it, provided the blueprint for it. They are not innovative. They are not creating anything new. That's why I'm saying the men are the leaders by default. That's it.
Aaron, no, but we're talking about in terms of men and women in society. And also, right, if we going to look at men and women in society, because I don't want to compare or compete or anything like that. So we're going to look at or examine men and women in society. Then we also have to examine men and women within relationships, right? And this is the thing, right? And this is how I'm going to prove to you that things haven't changed much, because you mentioned, well, now the lines are blurred and we can't tell the brothel woman from the good woman, right? I hear that a lot. Matter of fact, I heard the angry man say something crazy like that, like, oh, we can't tell the clear Huxtables from the sexy reds anymore. Totally ridiculous. And I'm going to debunk it right now by asking you a simple question, Aaron O. Right? Matter of fact, I got two questions. My first question to you is, and then you can answer that, and then I can ask you the second question. So my first question to you, Aaron O, is when you are desiring a relationship with a woman, and I'm talking about Aaron O specifically, right? Are you desiring a relationship in which you are trying to follow behind that woman, or you are desiring a relationship where you want a woman to follow behind you?
It's a good question. So, in a general statement, I tend to lead, but I'm open to the fact that we are in a different society and women have capabilities if they have the mentality that they want to lead in something. I don't want to be so manly, egotistical, and all these things where a woman has the abilities to do something and do this, and I say, "Well, I'm the man; I should do it."
No. So we're not talking about like removing a woman's autonomy or you're just leading everything. You know, we know what we're talking about, Aaron. No, what I'm asking you is because I already know the answer. Basically, you've already answered it, right? When you're engaging in a relationship with a woman, right? You believe yourself that you should carry the heavier burden. Is that right or wrong?
I believe I'm more capable of carrying the heavier burden. Yes.
Okay, so that's the answer to my first question, right? And what I find ironic about it is no matter what man I ask, they give me the same answer. I've
However,
never, hold on, Aaron, no. I've
what?
never heard a brother, a king, a rim brother even, get up and answer that question and say, well, you know what? I'm looking for a relationship in which the woman is my leader, right? So that's number one. So now let me ask you this second question. Aaron, no, within your pursuits of finding a suitable woman to engage in a relationship with, right? Are you telling me and telling the people that you've had a difficult time discerning the clear Huxtable type of a woman or distinguishing the clear Huxtable type of a woman from the sexy red type of a woman? I'm asking Aaron this.
No, I never made that. Gears, what up? I never made
All right.
I never made the distinction about not being able to identify the differences. What I'm saying is that socially, we are not permitted to treat those women less than, to distinguish. Oh, you come on now, you less than this woman, to basically what was normalized, the common thing to do, like mush in the face, like watch out, some real women over there. That's not acceptable no more. Now it's like, yo, if you're just not, just mind your business, ignore it and stuff. No, before we used to be able to be blatant about the type of activities. It is now being restricted from doing. So don't do. They're still human. That wasn't the case back then. I'm saying there's been a shift there. Can I tell distinctly the difference from a woman that is fast as opposed to a woman that is not, a woman that has better character than this woman? Sure, that I can. However, I will also concede this: that doesn't take a woman's ability away to be liars and manipulative and to tell men, you don't know how many people I slept with, so how would you know? Instead of saying, nah, I would never do that because that's not who I am. I take that very serious. So actually, yeah, I really would prefer a low body count. Like a woman saying a body count don't matter is a clear sign that she probably has a higher one, because a woman with a low body count will tell you, yeah, you know, I conduct myself a certain way. I don't just deal with anybody. So yeah, I would never have that type of thing.
But Aaron,
yes, sir.
What I want you to realize and understand is this, right? In your last soliloquy, you just disproven your own premise, right? Because here's what you did, right? You said, well, Aaron, I don't have an issue discerning the good woman from the bad woman. Matter of fact, I don't have a problem gravitating to the good woman or the good woman gravitating to me. And in essence, just by that premise alone, right, that will show you that the lines aren't blurred, right? Because we know if you're a strong man, such as yourself, right, you're
Start gaslighting.
already by default categorizing those women, right? But the problem is, Aaron, right, the weak men have an inability to do so because they also fall into the sexy red category, right? So if you also fall into that category, now you can't lift yourself up and say, well, you know what? I deserve a clear Huxtable. No, you're a degenerate. If you want a clear Huxtable, recalibrate your value system, become a successful brother like Aaron O, and then now the lines will no longer be blurred for you. But the problem that I have, Aaron O, is you got men who these rim brother leaders, such as the angry man, he will convince these inexperienced brothers that there's no possible way to distinguish the good woman from the bad woman. And it's completely disingenuous. You're poisoning the well, right? And I don't know how men are going to get good outcomes with that type of a weak mentality.
Brownsville, do you think that everybody have the same mindset as Aaron O?
What do you mean
Do
by
you
that?
actually believe? Do you actually believe everybody had the same thought process as Aaron O? They can run a business if he wanted to. He has a good financial literacy. He know how to judge different kind of things. He can analyze different kind of things. Everybody is not created the same way, and we all make different mistakes. One of the things that I'm noticing about you, Brownsville, is that you focus a lot on the Bible when you sit there and say people need to change the way that they think and conform and acquiesce to the Bible. But that's a fantasy. Everybody not gonna do that. You should have those talking points for the people who have that mindset.
Okay, so this is Mr. Logic, right?
No, this Giz. You ain't talked to me before, bro.
Oh, okay, big Giz. My apologies, right? So, in this conversation that I was having with Aaron O, I wasn't even pushing scripture, right? I'm just pushing the idea that men, whether you're a rim brother, a weak man, or not, should strive for greatness, right? You should, and I believe that men have the ability to recalibrate their value system. If I believe that they didn't have that ability, then I wouldn't be talking about it so much, right? Now, if you're telling me by and large that these rim brothers, these no good suckers, that they don't have the ability to recalibrate their value system, they don't have the ability to have any sense of financial literacy or any sense of true leadership, right? I'm not talking to those guys because by your own opinion, these guys don't have an opportunity to grow. But I believe that's a small percentage of men, right? Now, the problem is, my brother, Big Giz, is that with these talking points, and when you got the strong brothers who are leading the weak brothers, and they're telling them all of these negative things, and they're pushing all of these negative ideologies into their system, especially the inexperienced and the younger brothers, right? What you're doing is you're discouraging them from striving for greatness when you should be encouraging them to do so, right? There's no reason why Aaron O shouldn't be encouraging these men to gain more financial literacy. Aaron O would tell you it's not difficult to recalibrate your mind to become more of a saver than a spender. I'm pretty sure he can give these guys some good outlines on how to change the financial pathways in their life, right? It's all a matter of them actually undergoing some self-reflection, taking accountability for their missteps, and then transforming their mind to move in that more positive and productive manner, right? It's a weak mentality to believe that they just can't do it, right? So
I,
for me,
but that's not even my point, Brownsville.
so what's your point
That's
then?
not even my point. that they can't do it. Some people prefer the life that they live in and they want to live that way. I mean, who gives anybody the right to try to change people autonomy? They should choose to do that if they want to, and then they'll be more honest and have a greater chance at success instead of doing what society or what Brownsville tells them to do. They choose to walk that path by the information that they done picked up in life and actually walk into that path with confidence if they choose to do that. A lot of successful people, they don't necessarily be married or want to give up, as you call it, they sexual prowess or they deviancy and stuff like that. Who say that that woman want that man to not be want to put sex at the top of their list? Why would a woman choose a man that got all the capabilities that they want them to have to put the sex at the bottom of the list? They gonna want that at the top too for themselves to enjoy.
Because Big is, it's a simple answer to that, right? If you are interested in building a community, a strong one, building a strong society, right? You're going to put more earnest in obtaining strong values, right? So if you read Malcolm X's autobiography, right? When he said it was a point in his life where sex and degeneracy was at the top of his value system, and they called him red, and he was running numbers. And by some standard, he was successful, right? He wasn't broke. He had money. He had women acquiescing to him. He had a leadership role in what he was doing at that point, right? But it wasn't until he decided to recalibrate his value system. And at that point, once he decided to do that, that's when his success took a rocket launch path.
Yeah, but you just
Right.
use Malcolm X, right? One of the most like prolific individuals that we can actually, that is historical in his impact, right? I believe there are distinctive things we can see. We can see when people are smarter than other people. We can see when people have higher level of self-awareness. We can see skill set differences. There are men that are more capable than others. So you can strive all you want. You don't have the capabilities. And this world is designed for certain people with certain capabilities to excel. But I just wondering, there are going to be some people that are on the lower tier, less motivated, etc. Isn't it just okay to pair them up with the women that are like that? Like, why does everybody have to be driven a certain way? And why does that have to be the standard thing? Shouldn't we just pair up people? Like, because there are some lower quality men. Let's just pair them up with the lower quality women instead of trying to rise them up to a higher quality. Let's just pair them up with the lower quality women, because it sounds like there's no acknowledgement of how the extensive amount of lower quality women exist. It's like there's way more high quality women and there's just predominantly low quality men, so it's unbalanced. No. It's pretty balanced. Low quality women should just go ahead and get low quality men, and we should leave it at that. I'm not trying to make a perfect world.
And I agree with that. But the problem is, Aaron, no. You got these rim brothers, these no good suckers, these weak men, right? They're online complaining that they want the clear Huxtable women and not the sexy reds, right? That's what you are hearing, right? If we wasn't hearing that, then I wouldn't even be saying anything. If I was coming on a platform and brothers like some of these rim brothers, I ain't even gonna go into names, right? But if these brothers was coming up on these platforms and saying, you know what, I love lust and degeneracy and sexually objectifying women. So guess what? I'm gonna find all my women in the brothels. I'm gonna find all my women in the strip clubs. I'm gonna find all my women in the sexy red video shoots, right? If those were the conversations that we were having, then I would say, okay, y'all do y'all thing, right? But that is not what we're hearing in these conversations. What we're hearing is these rim brothers, these sexy red brothers, these no good suckers, they're getting online and they're saying, well, you know what? No, I'm a man with standards. I'm a man that has found success, and I deserve a successful woman. And guess what? I can't find a successful woman. Matter of fact, I can't tell the difference from the sexy reds from the clear Huxtables, right? But then when you peel back the layers of the onion and you really start interviewing these guys and asking these guys to describe areas in their life, you can quickly determine, oh, well, you just a sexy red guy. That is, the pinnacle of the type of relationship you're going to be able to have. But we don't have enough men that are willing to tell these rim brothers the hard truth, right? What you guys are doing is just acquiescing to what they're saying and saying, oh yeah, you're right. It's the woman's fault. It's the lines are blurred. Oh, we can't tell the difference between clear Huxtables and sexy red. But then individually, Aaron O said, you know what? I don't have an issue with that. Sexy red woman isn't in my purview. They're not, in my circle, right? And I guarantee you, if I was to ask Big Giz the same thing, he would probably say the same thing.
I'm at the game. I'm at the game, Brownsville.
Right. So that means you found a wife, right?
Yeah.
Right. So you found a wife, Big Giz. Now, I'm willing to bet this. Your wife isn't a sexy red wife, is she?
No, bro.
Exactly. Right. So Aaron, no, listen.
But
Find me a
so
brother.
I ain't got no problem with somebody.
Hold on.
If somebody was attracted to a sexy red, that's them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to at this point in life, Brownsville, I'm not trying to uh pretty much put my ideologies on people. I realize everybody have different mindsets, even in religion. You have different sects of religion, different mindsets, different denominations. So at the end of the day, like the sexual deviancy and all this stuff like that, my only issue with that is people are not. I agree with you. People are not being honest about the things that they would accept on both sides.
Hold on, Giz. So Brownsville, you agree that men and women intellectually are roughly the equivalents, right? You don't think one is like supremely more intelligent than the other, right?
That's correct. No.
Okay, so you've just expressed to me how I might have the ability to identifying, distinguishing women and characters and traits like that. So that if I have the capabilities, there are a lot of other people that may have the capabilities. Fair enough. It's a fair point. My question to you is this. Do you think women have the capabilities to discern what good men are and what bad men are?
So, I'm gonna say it's yes and no, right? Because we've already established, right, that women have historically acquiesced to the way men move, whether good or bad, right? So the issue with it is this. A lot of men don't have honor or integrity, right? They're not being honest with these women, right? They'll go on dates with these women and they're not identifying themselves as rim brothers, no good suckers. What they're saying is, oh, I'm a successful man, and they might pick them up in a rental car, or they might pay for a couple of dates at expensive restaurants. And you even had a stream to where this dude, I guess he was a UFC fighter or whatever, right? Where he totally manipulated this woman into thinking that he was successful, and about the whole time he was just manipulating her, right? Mm-hmm. Masterfully. Mm-hmm. This is the issue that I have, and that's why I can't come back and blame totally. Now, the woman has to take some responsibility. I agree. But I can't put all the responsibility on the woman when we know that these rim brothers are master manipulators, right? They are good liars. They don't have any honor or integrity, right? And it's going to take an exceptional woman to be able to decipher and sift through all of the rim brothers in order to find a Aaron O, right? But sometimes, and you can, ask the queens, the ladies, the women, even the exceptional ones, they'll admit, well, yeah, I acquiesced to this brother. He fooled me, he tricked me, and I fell for the trick, and I got out of the situation, right? So it's more difficult for the queens, the ladies, the women, because of the lack of honor and integrity within these rim brothers.
Mm-hmm. So fair point. You're basically saying you're not going to hold them to that standard of their ability to discern the way you want to hold the men to the standard, which I accept because you are all about the accountability on the men. So it's fine. This Brownsville. So what? But the thing with me is like when you use me as an example, Aaron, no, you can discern this. You're intelligent enough, brother. This now me, I don't think I'm smart at all. I know other men don't think like me, operate like me, but they still have a right to be on the planet, right to have to try to live their life the way that they want to live, as long as it's not harming. And I mean harming, like taking people off the planet, not hurting your feelings. I could care less if people hurt your feelings. Like whoop-de-doo, right? The problem that I have is that it's just I know women who have no children. I know women who said, "Oh, my friend, I told her not to mess with that guy. She did it anyway." So if you can identify me as a single man to utilize as the point of abilities, I can utilize 5 women who have no children, ain't messing with no man that's down, low down, dirty Shane, and they friends are doing that. Then that means those women are choosing to deal with those men because those men have something that they desire. Women have said the best D come from the guys with no job, and they parade that. They reinforce that. They smile and giggle when they say these things, and they want the choice to be able to choose that guy with no job because it actually gives them a power position, which they actually desire. Because a lot of women, yes, they want the leadership of a benevolent man. However, a lot of times women want to be in a power position because they don't want to concede power to a man unless he jumps through so many hoops and proves that he should have this type of power over her. Some men don't want to choose to play those games no more. I mean, I'm done with playing those games. So it's a lot of shifting in this world. And I'm saying there's space for everybody. I'm going to hold the women to the standard of if I know a 40-year-old woman that has no children at all because she was making her decisions not to do it, you don't have no excuse for being 25 with 3 different baby daddies because they're manipulative. There's just nope. I want to be consistent. So why is it we're willing to acknowledge the women that have the abilities to make good decisions, but make excuses for the women that have the worst decision making? Why are we doing that?
Because Aaron, no, you said, so I'm gonna ask you a question, right? Because I've already said why we should do it, right? But you said that these men aren't harmful, right? And that's where I totally disagree. So I gotta ask you a question. Do you believe that a man who is lying and who is deceitfully tricking a woman into thinking that he's somebody that he isn't, is that man harmful to that woman?
So what? No. So when I'm speaking of harmful, I mean taking you off the planet. Harmful or hurting your feelings is a whole nother story. Oh, he hurt my feelings. He lied to me. He hurt my feelings. He cheated with my sister. I don't care about that. I'm so sorry that your emotional feelings is there. Whoop-de-doo. You get to play the game of life. I don't think trying to harm somebody physically and taking them off the planet, no, you are problematic. But you messing with this girl, messing with her cousin, this, and that, hey, that's come with the game of life. Oh, you're going to hurt some feelings. It is what it is. A woman will leave you fast and say, I'm just not feeling you no more. I'm sorry, and move on. That hurts a man's feelings. It could crush him. Feelings get hurt all the time. That's not like a high concern for me. Now, does that mean I want people to go around hurting people's feelings? It's not the desired outcome, but that is the thing you have to deal with choice in humans. And I'm saying there are an extreme amount of women saying, guys with no job, how they do. And they want those type of jobs. They want at least the option to deal with those men. And the men that have choice, power, influence, the men want to be able to do what they want to do, and the women want them to do what they want them to do. Women want a man that got money, look good, take care of his kids. She want him, buy her stuff, to do what she desires from him. However, she's not willing to give him what he desires in return. It's all about meeting and matching. And that's the things that people are having trouble with in life. Why? Choice, opportunity. I believe in consequence. And I think that's the problem that we're having. I'm not trying to take it. Winners and losers exist in this world. Women are going to lose. Men are going to lose. And some men are going to win. Some women are going to win. We ain't eliminating that. So that's the only issue that I have. I'm not trying to eliminate the pecking order of winners and losers.
I 100% agree with you. Brownsville, I got one quick question, just to piggyback off of Aaron O, what he said.
Go ahead,
Do you believe that men and women should be spiritually yoked, equally yoked?
Yes, and that, to me, that is dependent upon what foundation of faith the person ascribes to, right? Because if you don't, because when you're talking about equally yoked, you're talking about in a biblical sense. And those men and women who don't ascribe to the Bible, they won't even understand what being equally yoked means, right? But by the
time they get with you, Brownsville,
but
they
listen,
should
but Big
they
Giz,
should
but here's
have
my point. But here's my point.
that ideology.
Big Giz, but here's my point, right? Even though because of different faith backgrounds, men and women might not understand what being equally yoked is. Everyone understands what a liar is, right? So I totally disagree with Aaron No when he says, well, a liar isn't as harmful as somebody being physically harmful to you. I totally disagree with that, Aaron No. And hold on, Aaron No. Okay. Even God disagrees with you, because God says a liar will not tarry in his sight, right? God even detests liars, right?
Okay,
me,
I get what you're saying right there, Brownsville.
A liar can cause a lot of harm and a lot of damage in a multitude of ways, right? So what I'm saying is, if the men were being honest with these women, I wouldn't have an issue. But
so you saying the majority of them are not honest, right? You pretty much saying all the men that's manipulating these women are liars. They're not manipulating them with the truth. Is it possible that some men out there that meet the standards of that woman, that she's attracted to this man, not telling her the truth, and she's just not going with what he's saying? Just every man just lying?
No. So that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, oftentimes when we peel back the onion of the men who are complaining about women in a relationship world, these rim brothers, these no good suckers, right? Oftentimes when we hear them speak and we interview those men, we'll realize, hey, you were being deceitful. Why didn't you just tell the woman the truth? Why wouldn't you just tell her, hey, I'm a bus driver, I make XYZ or whatever, or hey, I'm unemployed right now at the time, and financially I can't pay for these dates. What I'm saying is, women by and large appreciate honesty, right? And matter of fact, if you're honest with her, regardless of whatever situation you find yourself in, that woman will gravitate towards that honesty, and she might just say, hey, you know what? This guy's a good brother. He just fell on some hard times. So I'm going to get with him, and we have a chance to be successful together.
Well,
But that's not what's happening right now.
I want to answer why the lies that I'm okay with, but I want to catch up on these super chats before Jack gets me in trouble. Jack says, women teach women how to bust it wide open, use men for gifts or favors, or how to trick men into believing the kids is his. They aren't more virtuous, yo. Jack says, you missed 2 super chats, AO. Stop it. I did not miss any, Jack. I didn't miss none. Nope. I read them all. Okay. Jack says, AO needs some chaos. Fight Club ruined you, bro. Wake up. No. You're not about to turn this into the Fight Club, Jack. Okay. Jack says the 304s blend in by sleeping around and hiding it. Oh, yeah, because back in the they be hiding. That is a good point. Jack says body count does matter. 304s became broken and abused. Yeah, you got to watch these 304s, but men do love 304s. I did a whole video about that, broke it all the way down. For the people that want to know, go back and watch it. Men love these 304s. Okay, Jack says, y'all want men to marry women who cheat, blow dudes, and come home and kiss you and your kids in the mouth. Single, sexual, free women don't make good wives. Damn, Jack said it. Jack says, however, send all the loose, nasty, degenerate women to me. I know how to utilize the underappreciated skills of these fatherless souls. Shout out to the 304s, okay? Jack, you ain't right. Jack says, not going to come up. This show going to end 5 minutes later. You're absolutely right, okay? Jack says, you're wrong, AO. Who wants to create a caste system here? Well, systems already exist, okay? Jack says, I want to say I'm only here to win the sponsor of the show, which I think the Super Mayor is going to beat you in, okay? Super Mayor is here, says Aaron. Ask him why the Wim brothers that he won't mention are the most revered by the women he calls queens. They coddle Wim brothers like. That is an interesting question. Why are those guys the most revered? I don't know. That is a good question. I don't know if he can answer that. Because I don't even know how to answer that. Why are they the most revered? They might be the most.
The reason why they're the most revered in this space, right, is because this is a Rim brother dominated space, right? So when they get a brother who is articulate, who is charismatic, and who he himself has found success, right? He himself is in a healthy marriage. He himself might be financially aligned the right way, right? So they look at him as a brother with some credibility, right? However, he's speaking to an audience that doesn't have shared values with him. He's catering, or as y'all would say, pandering to an audience who wants to hear negative talk about women. So they'll lift that brother up because they'll say, you know what? This brother has credibility, right? And this
how
brother is
they lift you up.
massaging our egos, right? So that's why these brothers become most revered.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
They do Brownsville the same way.
That's crazy. That is crazy. Jack says, women are smarter than men. Let them lead us, yo. No, we're going to go right off the cliff if that happens, okay? Superman will never beat me at anything, ever, in his Chris Jericho voice. I think Superman can beat you if Superman wants to, okay? Jack says, Ayo, Messi, we going to fix your Fight Club withdrawal symptoms. Well, if you want to fix those symptoms, man, you just gotta get the orange hoodie out. Okay. Superman says you can't honor women's intelligence, feminine power, intuition, etc., then try to remove that when accountability is in play. Respect women's autonomy. I agree. That's all. That's exactly what I'm saying right there.
Perfect.
Superman. Hit it right on the dot. I believe women are just as capable, intelligent, etc., as the men are. So the way I believe that I ain't gonna save no other man per se, because the men don't care about men. Women, I ain't care to save you either. You need to figure it out just like the men got to figure it out. Y'all, I don't believe women have a true, profound respect for men until they have to dwell in the difficulties that which exist that men do. And when women do dwell in that world that men do, and they like, oh, this is what the men really got to deal with, the profound respect for men tends to go up. Women with fathers, they tend to have a higher respect for men than women without, typically. So I think that that's an important distinction to make there. Okay, Jack says, we do it because women become emotionally unstable when they have to be held accountable for their decisions and choices. We want peace. Let's her live. I do. We want peace. We want peace. Okay, Superman says, we all have choices and human behavior has no gender. Every man and woman will be judged according to his or her works, and sin has no gender right, sir. Afraid. Let's see here. Certain. Yeah. Okay. I would agree with that. Okay. Jack says, I will come up, but I'm a ultra crepidarian. What the heck is the ultra crepidarian? I don't know what that is, Jack. Stop making up words. Okay. Superman says, ask him if a woman stands before God in the book of life, can the sins in her life be excused due to the man? Well, that's a question for you, Brownsville. That ain't something I know.
So I believe, the scripture is clear on this. The wages of sin is death, but the gift of God is eternal life through Jesus Christ, right? And that is an individual walk for each man and woman.
Fair enough. Okay, Jack says, women don't want to be judged as unworthy. How you a 3-time, 4-time baby mama, but none allowed to criticize you terrible behaviors. Nah, we good. Yeah, I believe in one mistake. So if a woman has one child and she cleaned up her bad habits and I made a mistake, I don't believe you throw that good woman away. But once she get to 2 kids and 3 kids, it's over with. I don't want to talk to you no more. Okay. Superman says, wrong. These are the same men offline they support because they had shared spirits. They just act as if they don't. I respect honest people. And then Jack says, I'm broke. Naturally, I'm out. Let her hoe, bro. Jack is wild, man. So let me answer your question, Brownsville. The reason why I don't care so much heavily about lies is because when I really break it down, what lie can a man actually tell a woman that is so detrimental compared to a woman lying about your kid's birth, but just in a general sense? I think that there is nothing really a man can lie to you about that you don't let him lie to you about. There are most questions, most things about men they can't really lie to you about. I don't believe so heavily in relying so much on trust and honesty so heavily. I believe a lot of this stuff we can actually control. And so when I think about that, I'm like, telling men to tell the truth is a lie. And I can prove it easily. If the truth gets you what you want, you would do it. Most women do not facilitate a space to garner honesty, because if women were responding to honest men, men would never lie. If men being honest actually worked with women, they would be the most honest beings on the planet. Look, I like honest men, and if you honest, you gonna most likely get what you want from me. Man, the line of honesty would be through the roof. The truth of the matter is, the things that men have to be honest with, women reject or do not want or don't desire it. And so men lie to get what they want. It is what it is. I just think that I'm not worried about a woman lying to me. There's almost not much she can lie to me about that can actually hurt me. I don't need her to tell me, oh, this actually is your child. Don't need your honesty there. I'll go find out myself. The signs have proven that. So because I personally don't focal point on a woman lying, what do I have to trust a woman so much with that the lie could hurt so much? That's why I just don't think it's as big a deal as we make it. A man lying about a job that he has, a woman can quickly figure out if a man got a job or not. I'm going to come to your job.
Let me ask y'all brothers this. Let me ask y'all brothers this real quick. And because, I can answer this honestly myself, right? So in your life, in your adult life, right? How often are you being pursued by the woman versus you being the pursuer? I would say for me, it was probably 80-20. I was 80% the pursuer and 20% the woman was pursuing me. What would be y'all percentages for that?
Uh, I pursued my wife, but it's funny. Since I'm out the game and stuff like that, I don't do no pursuing, and it still be bites on the line that I don't even got out there. So I would say at least 60, 60-40. I would have been the pursuer. 40% would be women that will come up to me. And I think the reason why they would come up to me because they got a want, they got a need, and they trying to see if I'm gonna play or step out of my situation.
Right, but I was talking about when you were in the dating pool, not necessarily because I mean, if yes, obviously, if you're in an established relationship or commitment already, that's gonna be attractive to the opposite person, and that's for men or women, right? So we get that, but I'm talking about when you were in the dating pool. What were the percentage? Is it still 60-40?
No, it wasn't 60-40. I go up to about 80-20 too, because at that time you was going out purposely to try to get women. If I'm going out, that's what I was going to try to do as a single man, to try to shoot my shot.
Right. So Aaron, no, how would you answer that?
I think that the pursuing part, I'm not sure how we like identify that, because I'm not sure what you mean by pursuing. Do you mean just like being the aggressive one, the first person to make initial contact? Because I believe they actually pursue each other. I think how we distinguish it is uniquely to the men's level of assertiveness, as opposed to the women being pursuing in her own way, whether we can recognize it. So I would say we identify men as being more pursuers than women, but I actually see women do pursue men. If you talk about my personal case, I think more women have pursued me than I pursued them. If we're talking about making things blatantly clear or saying, hey, I'm interested, or that type of thing, I would say it's more often women than me. But that's not common. It's usually the reverse. But then I'd also make the argument, if men being the pursuers puts a higher responsibility or requirement on them being truthful, I would tell women then you should reverse that and become the pursuers then. Because if that's not working with the men pursuing, then we better find another solution, or you better have a stronger understanding of men and how to read them. Because I don't know what to tell you. I don't.
That's what I'm saying. I'm glad you acknowledge the premise of the question, right? Because by and large, we live in a world where men are pursuing women for the most part, right? Even in the Bible, it says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing, right? In history, throughout, men have always been the pursuers. So the burden of honesty is on the man, right? If he's pursuing this woman, he needs to be honest and forthright, have some integrity, have some honor within him, and don't lie to her, don't mislead her, don't put her in a trick bag to get her to trust you, and then all of a sudden you come out as this degenerate rim brother, and now she's in a trick bag. That's, to me, is the danger that is perpetuating in this space, right? We're creating men through this remedial rhetoric, through this ideology, through these talking points. We're giving them the ammunition, or we're giving them the cover to be able to lie and not feel bad about it, because we're telling them, well, there ain't a lot of good women out there anyway, so you shouldn't feel bad if you lying to them.
I don't know if I heard that in this space, but so I'm trying to understand because I think it all depends on what's your value is how you get pursued. For example, the guy with the section. When I ran the club, the guy with the session, the women always pursue him. The broke dude on the dance floor, he was the one trying to holler at all the women. So it all depends on who you was and the value you brought to those women, right? But I do understand the premise of what you're saying. You're saying that since most guys are broke, so they do most of the pursuing. They supposed to be honest, right? And I believe in honesty, so I understand what you're saying. But what I have learned is that both people are lying to each other. It's not this idea that one person is manipulating the other one. The women are being so truthful and the men are just out here lying and tricking them. And then if you ask most women, they know they being lied to. They know that nigga don't make no $150,000 a year. It just like they know that he's not telling the truth, but they still is infatuated with who he is and want to be with him. So I think
Do
that's
they
the
know
difference.
that, Eda, man?
They
I mean,
do.
because you're saying that they know that this man is lying, and I'm asking you,
Absolutely.
how do they know that?
I
Because
absolutely.
they got a woman's council. They talk to their friends about who they talking with, and they compare notes and all that kind of stuff. That's
No, no, no,
first.
no. Hold on. I get where you're trying to go, but we know that it's signs that people are lying. Like if you done been around enough people, for example, a dude who say, you know, he's being faithful to you, and he always turning his phone off, or he always putting his phone over, or not answering no phone calls with you. It's context clues there to know that he's not being faithful. Now, so this idea that these women are just so, and because I believe women are so intelligent, and when we try to say that they just struck and they don't understand what's really going on, I think we give women disjustice because we're trying to argue that they can be tricked so easily, and I don't think women can be tricked that easily, in my opinion.
Especially
You
with
gotta
mental
admit
stuff. I agree with you.
the messages are being mixed, right? Because in one breath you say, oh well, if this man is hiding his phone in a certain way, you should know that he's trying to hide something or lie to you, right? But then you'll go on a panel and a man will say, well, hey, you shouldn't be controlling over this man to want to know everything that's on his phone,
Well, I
right?
said that
So
that
what I'm saying
I
is it's a double-mindedness when it comes to the messaging,
no, no,
right?
Brown, no,
we're
Brownsville, that's
not we're
perfect.
not
Hold
we're
on.
not giving the woman, right, the right guidance to discern when they should run away from a rim brother.
No, no. So no. Just listen to what you're saying. A person that's advocating that a woman shouldn't be able to look at his phone or go through his phone, he's really most of the time he's advocating because he's doing something wrong. Like I have never had a problem with my wife picking up my phone, looking at my phone because I have nothing to hide. I get some people say, "Oh, this is my personal stuff," but when I became married, I understood that if my wife has certain levels of insecurities and those things help her, I'm gonna help her get past those things. But I get some men haven't matured to that. But this idea in my mind, that when we have people who say they don't want to get married, they say they want to mess with multiple women, and they say that women should not be going through their phone, they already gave us the contact clues of what type of person they are. And it says we know that's why they're advocating for it, because they're advocating for their situation. And that's what we see a lot on YouTube.
But Eda, man, the key words to your whole soliloquy was once I got married, right? And we're talking about a situation in the dating world, right? where these men are lying to these women. They're hiding their phones and such, right? And then in one stream, you'll be telling these women, well, hey, you shouldn't be so overly controlling to where you want to see everything that's going on in this man's phone when you're just dating him, right? But then Eda Man Williams is saying, well, hey, if a man is hiding his phone from you, that's a telltale sign that he's hiding something or he's possibly lying to you. So which one is it?
Well, I don't know what you heard me say the other statement, right? So I believe in transparency. So I have been consistent through my whole dating. Like every girl that I talked to, I never had a problem with them because I didn't lie. I told women straight up, hey, check this out. I just want to have fun. I'm not looking to be in a relationship. I'm looking to do these different things. And I learned me being honest with women, they accepted me for who I was. So I'm not an advocate of lying. That's the whole point that I'm telling you. I'm not an advocate of lying. And I'm not, and you have never heard me say that a woman who's dealing with a man shouldn't be have the ability to see his phone, answer his phone, do different things like that, because I have never operated in that purpose. So I don't know where you got that from, but that's not, I just never moved that way. And I really don't care because most of the time, these women that look through your phone, they stay, they don't go nowhere. So it's not like they're going to leave you because they found something in your phone.
Right. But Eda Man, so my
Aaron,
question
what's
to
up?
you,
What's up, fella?
my question to you, Eda Man, is do you believe that the majority of men who are in the dating market has that type of a true intention like Eda Man Williams to say, hey, every
Yeah,
woman, hold on, let me frame the question to say, hey, every woman I come in contact with, I'm approaching her with honesty. I'm being truthful with my intentions with her, whether I just want to sleep with her or if I see some type of a committed relationship potential in her, right? Do you believe that the majority of men in the dating market are moving in that way?
Yeah, I think today a lot of men are moving honestly. I know we want to say that it's back in the 90s and people still running game. The difference between today and maybe 10 to 20 years ago is that the women back then wouldn't go for it. But now the women, if a dude just be like, hey, I just want to sleep with you, I don't want to get married, I have no desire to get married, we see women every day that's willing to accept that type of behavior. So I don't think dudes are lying no more saying, hey, we gonna get married and different things like that. Like I do think it might be a small group of people doing that, but women today I believe are down for Netflix and
So
chill. The ones
let me
that's in
test
that.
that logic, Eda Man. Let me test that logic. So here in this space, whether we call it a Fight Club space, whether we call it a Rim Brothers space, or just a Black YouTube space, whatever, right? But in this particular space, when you hear all these men who are saying they're making six figures and they're finding all this success and all of these different type of things, do you believe the majority of those men are telling the truth or are they lying?
Um, I think six figures
Mm.
nowadays is very easy to make. And I get that we don't want to talk about. So YouTube is not the majority. Like I have a friend who
No,
made.
I didn't ask you that. I didn't ask
So
you was
yes,
YouTube the majority.
no,
Six
no. So
figures
the
is difficult to make, either, man. Y'all gotta
no, no,
stop.
no, 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 no,
What?
no. What I'm the whole point that I was saying is that when people say that, hey, I'm making six figures, today it's a lot easier to make six figures than it was 15 to 20 years ago. So that's the point that I'm making.
Okay.
So so for example, and I'm comparing two different times. I'm not saying everybody can make it. I have a person today who a friend, me and him just had a conversation. Last year he made six figures doing Instacart. How the hell you make six figures doing Instacart? You know, so
Yes.
like so
They
that's
get into it, bro. I'll be telling
so
people all the time.
so that's the whole point that I'm saying is that if we go back to the 90s, men didn't have access to be able to go out and just outwork it. Like I know people who killed Uber. Uber had to change their whole model because how they was destroying it, where they was like cutting their
The
app off because they
surcharges.
said they was saying that they work
Surcharge.
too much. So in this gig economy, when somebody tell me that they make six figures, it's easier for me to believe them because it's very possible compared to 20 years ago.
Hey, either man. Let me jump in, right? Hey, look, I'm pretty much down the middle when it comes to stuff, right? So when Brownsville asked their questions about men lying, right? I've always said this in the space. How men and women show up is different because I used to say the same thing. Men are lying about how much they make and girls that they get and all this stuff that we know typically men are lying at. But then I would come back and I would say, how many of y'all women have degrees? How many women are y'all getting flown out? How many women y'all get in the bag? When some of them won't even come up, we don't even know what you look like. So the lie is different from both sides. And I would ask, has anybody on this panel been to counseling? Because if you have or have not, I would say lying, trauma, all these human characteristics shows up different in men and women. That's why they wrote the book, Women from Venus, Men Are from Mars. So we can't say it's just men are lying. Our trauma shows up differently. Sexual trauma shows up differently in men. We normally normalize it and women don't. So we can't just say, or we definitely can't say that God made one gender more flawed than the other. How it shows up is different. So when Aaron O is bringing the other side, yes, we can't look at women nowadays, how advanced they are and all the things that they're doing. And then in another conversation, say, well, on this end, we have to protect them from that because now I guess what? Now they're dumber? No, women will be held accountable for their actions just like men. Whether I don't care if they're at church, work, whatever the case is, if they do a action, which is a choice, whether a man was involved or not, they had a choice and there's consequences. And we're all functioning adults at the end of the day. You tell your daughter and your son, don't do X, Y, and Z, right? As a baseline. So does that change as they get older? No, there's consequences. That's what you tell your kids. You don't say, hey, you're my daughter. If you do something, you can be excused if a boy is involved. No, as a young woman, no, it's all the way around. You do this, this will happen. There's no excuse for her. So why does that change as she gets older? People need to start being held accountable for their actions. And sometimes, yes, women can get manipulated, but sometimes women just like to do what they like to do. And I always used to tell women on this app, you want to be protected, but you volunteered to click on this link in the title that disrespects you, the channel holder that disrespects you, and you choose every day to be in his chat, and you super chat him, and you cash app him every day. You're not forced. You're a grown woman. You volunteer. You can't blame men on that. They volunteer to do that. That's not a man's fault. Same way with the men when they volunteer to do stuff. We are all individuals, functioning adults, and we need to stop giving people excuses and blaming other people for the stuff that we volunteer to do. That's all I got. My phone about to die.
But I was going to ask you a question, sir, because I don't totally disagree
go ahead.
with
Go
everything
ahead.
you said.
Go
Right.
ahead.
But I was just curious. Do you have any daughters?
I had a daughter. She passed away 5 days later.
Oh, I'm sorry about that, man. But I have a 14-year-old daughter, right? And I would be a fool not to educate her on what happens in this dating market, this dating arena, right? And one of the things that I tell her is these boys are going to lie to you. They're going to try to manipulate you. And I want to know, and I guarantee you, if you ask girl dads, right, they're going to say they've said those same similar things to their daughter, right? You're
Absolutely not.
educating them.
Absolutely not. I'm a girl dad.
Me too.
And
Absolutely not.
Let him finish his wild thoughts, man. Let him finish his wild thoughts. Go ahead.
So you're saying that you're going to tell your daughter that these boys, they have her best intentions in mind when they're
Nope.
approaching her. That
No, that's
they're
too
not going.
extreme.
Hold on, let
You
me
went,
finish.
you
No.
went too extreme.
Let me finish. That they're not going to attempt to lie and manipulate her into getting her to do things that she necessarily doesn't want to do. Are we
I would
saying
say
that
so.
doesn't
No,
exist?
I will say that they will have to say that because there'll be some boys that will do that, right? But if I flip the script, right, because we're going to go both sides, ask some women what they would tell their sons. Probably the same thing, right? And they wouldn't say all girls would do that, right? So it's the same on both sides because a lot of the times the things that we learn, the things that we question from women, Like, hey, hey, I might need to get a DNA and all that. You know where we get that from? From women, from our sisters, from women who say, hey, I know women. So it's both sides. It's both sides. And it's not all men, all women. But yes, a woman would have that same conversation with her son about women.
Yeah.
Through experience, to me, it's just the conversations are a little different. And if y'all, because
I mean, they
like I
might be,
said,
but the
when
behavior is the same, though. You were going to teach them about manipulation, lying, cheating, trust. So it's the foundation is the same. The conversation may be a little bit different, but at the basis, it's the same. Same
but
human
we
behavior.
can't
The biggest difference,
pretend.
the biggest difference, Brownsville, is accountability. If a guy get played, we tell him that's on you. Girl get played, they shouldn't do you like that. That's crazy. As men, we tell, oh, you let her play you, you let her trick you. That's how we talk to the men.
All right, fellas, my phone about to die. I'll holler at y'all.
All right, I
All right,
appreciate you.
so I
All
kind of
right,
want to
hell.
respond to him because I have daughters, and as soon as your daughter meets somebody who's not doing those things, it make the father look like a liar, right? But I think what we should tell our daughters is that it's both humans out. It's men out there that's going to try to do you wrong, take advantage of you, and there's men out there who's not going to try to take advantage of you. I just don't understand why we only have to tell half of the story because I strongly believe that my daughter can run into a man who might have the values and stuff that Brownsville are saying. Why would I paint this picture that the positive man is not out there? Because I just want to give them discernment and I want them to have wisdom to be able to make a wise decision to know the difference between the two. If I only told one, that means that she think it's only one man out there.
Saying that the
I agree with
positive guys
that,
are
either
not
man.
out there. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is there's less Aaron O's out there than they are Jay Prince for presidents, right? There's more degenerate men than they are morally sound men, right? And we can't pretend that that's not true. We
It's
can't
not.
pretend that there's more men who are likely to lie and manipulate to get a woman to have sex with them than they are men who is putting sex to the back burner and they're actually trying to get to know the heart of a woman, the mind of a woman, the spirit of a woman, right? Like, listen, sometimes in this space, I feel like I'm having a conversation in another world, right? That we're not living in on the same planet,
Yeah,
right?
well,
It's
because
ridiculous.
you speaking from your reality. So, for example, all of the males that my daughters are around are my best friends. These are people I do business with. We literally had kids all at the same time, so our kids can be the same age. So now when I started painting this picture, she's not running against all these random dudes. She's people she done grew up with her whole life that she know are good people. Then I start paint. I get what you said. If you just sending your girls out to the world and you said they got to prepare for that, but if you have created an environment of healthy relationships where people are just friends, just because friends, like this person you've been knowing since he was 5. Y'all remember when y'all two was playing together? I'm just telling you that mindset is flawed if you build a community. That's the whole point that I'm trying to help you
Right.
understand,
So
bro.
because your daughters
Hold on,
never went to
Brownfield.
public
Let me
school,
add
right?
that one time, right quick. Not only do I agree with either man and what L was saying on that, but I had a conversation with my wife a couple of days ago, and when my little daughter get a little bit older and stuff like that, while I'm already doing this, I'm talking to her about the friends that she keep, the little girls that's around her and stuff like that. Make sure that she thinks for herself. Make sure that you don't allow your friends to manipulate you to do things that your parents disapprove of, because that's an issue too. You not only should you be warning your daughter about these men and stuff like that, you need to be warning them about the friends and the company that she keep.
And that's a fact. I'm warning my daughter about everything. You know, people were shocked a couple of months ago when I said, hey, I bought my daughter The Art of War by Sun Tzu, right? I go to the Barnes and Nobles with my daughter every weekend and we go book shopping, right? And there's not many men there at all. You know what I'm saying? I'm spending quality time with my daughter and I want her to know the nature of a man, how a man moves, how a man thinks, right? But I'm not Ida Man Williams. I understand that there's not many men that have my mentality, right? There's not many men who's gonna say, well, hey, we need to lift the woman up, right? We need to carry the heavier burdens, right? We need to have the best intentions in mind when it comes to our women, right? If you notice, brother Big Giz, my ideology is in the minority in this space, right? Now, Ida Man Williams, he'll go back and forth. He'll get with Brownsville program one day, and then the next day, he's with the Rim Brothers program, right? Now, Aaron O, he's I called him the asylum owner, right? Because Aaron O's not a Rim brother, right? But he creates a safe space for them to speak freely and for them to spew their remedial rhetoric, right? And then majority of these spaces are Rim brother dominated spaces, right?
It's
And
so
when you hear
crazy.
these brothers talk, they're disrespecting women, they're denigrating women, and then you're gonna have Ida Man Williams saying, oh no, every man that my daughter's around is a good, upstanding, morally sound man. So I don't gotta tell her about the dangers of these Rim brothers. To me, I just find the whole conversation disingenuous at that point.
Yeah, so the crazy part about when I hear Brownsville talk, it tells me how limited he have been on YouTube. Because I can go to spaces on YouTube where it's dudes just like Brownsville. Matter of fact, it's thousands and thousands of channels just like Brownsville, catering to the women, doing all these different things. And for some reason, when I talk to Brownsville or hear Brownsville talk, he said that he believed that this quote unquote rim is the majority of the YouTube space. No, that's just what you listen to. I promise you. Matter of fact, this rim space that you talk about is the minority when we talk about it's the minority when we talk about YouTube. The majority of dudes are on here talking cap just like you with women. We just typically don't see them because our algorithms show that we don't like those type things. So we gotta stop painting this narrative that majority of men are bad because it's not true. It's just not a true thing.
I want to ask the question to Brown because I want to understand what lie that a man tells a woman that is so detrimental. That's what I'm curious about. What lie?
It's the lies to get them to trust him, right? So it's telling them, that they have a certain level of a career, or telling them they have a certain level of financial stability, or telling them that they, have the woman's true intentions in their mind, right? So they're showing them, that they're capable of doing certain things, but it's only for a temporarily basis, in which as soon as that woman puts her guard down, right, to the point that the man is able to extract the value from that woman, right? That's when his mask comes off, and all of a sudden he identifies himself as a rim brother. Because you'll have very few women that you'll interact with, that you'll communicate with, that will tell you that, hey, yeah, this rim brother, he identified himself as a rim brother from jump. When I met him, he told me he was a degenerate. He told me he was a poopy and a rayway, and he told me all he wanted was sex.
But
right?
that's the problem. Hold on, because you saying a lot though. Hold on.
We hear it in the space, right?
No,
Not only from single rim brothers, but from
But you
married
missed
men,
it.
brothers.
You missing it. They don't identify that as that. So they don't see themselves as a degenerate. They see their behavior as okay. So when you say, why don't you call yourself stupid? Because the person don't see themselves stupid. Even though Brownsville might see that they are stupid. So when you keep saying, why don't they call themselves stupid or call them a degenerate? Because they don't see themselves as a degenerate. How can't you not see that?
Because everyone understands what a moral compass is, right? we have something that's called, I mean, in some people, you're right, but it's a very small minutia of people that don't have what's called a conscience, right? That don't have something in their mind or in their spirit that tells them when they're doing right from wrong, right? That's a very small percentage of people, right? But for the large percentage, we have what's called a conscience, right? So we have the ability to obtain a moral compass, right?
No, but
So we
no.
know, listen, we know,
I
hold on.
promise you. I promise you
We
off
know,
on this one.
no,
You
listen,
off because
what I'm,
my moral compass says that I should get married. I talked to Fantastic. His moral compass says that he should not get married. It's not a
he's a
moral compass,
degenerate. That's my point.
but
Listen,
he don't
you
see that.
eat a man.
But
Now
he
let
don't
me
see
stop
that
you right
as
here.
There's
degeneracy.
no
That's
way
the
he a
whole point.
degenerate. He done
He
tried it.
is a
He tried it.
degenerate. No, listen, hold on. No, listen. I'm explaining to you because all of y'all heard the debate. You heard the words come from that man's mouth. He said, listen, I sexually objectify every woman I come in contact with. And the reason why I do it is because I don't want to become gay. This is what this man said. Those was his words, not my words. And you're gonna tell me, Man Williams, that a man who would say something like that every woman he encounters, he reduces them down to their sexual organs, is not a degenerate? Come
So
on, man, go
so hold
somewhere
on.
with that.
Listen. You're not listening to what
This
I
is the first
said.
time I heard some
Oh
passion
no,
in
hold on,
Brownsville.
no. Listen, because Brownsville is still what he's saying is that Brownsville identify him as a degenerate. My whole argument was Fantastic doesn't see himself as a degenerate. So why would he go tell a woman that he's something that he don't identify with? Even though that Brownsville can say that that's his behavior and what he believes, why would men start telling women stuff that they don't believe? It doesn't even
But
make
That's a
sense.
fact. Yeah,
that goes
Brownsville,
back
you
to the
labeling
honesty
men
point.
as that.
But hold on, Miss Gibbs.
Hold on, gentlemen, one moment. We have a visitor. Taikisha, how are you? Taikisha.
Nigga, stupid bitch, nigga.
I knew that's what that was.
Hey, you know, you never know.
But that goes back to the honesty point, right? That goes back to men lacking honor and integrity, right? Because Mr. Fantastic has intellect. He has the ability to reason. He has logic, right? So you're not gonna convince me, Man Williams, that Mr. Fantastic doesn't understand that he has a degenerate mindset. Right?
Well,
He knows that he has a degenerate
you see,
mindset.
no,
Now
that's
he
what
might
you know.
not be honest about it. Okay, let me ask you this, Man Williams, right? If I said to you right now, Man Williams, that every woman I encounter, I have to sexually objectify her. Is that morally sound or is that degeneracy?
So is it morally sound from it?
Yes, answer
Hold
the
on, I'm trying to
question.
answer. Listen, bro, you're getting all upset for no reason when we having a
I'm not
conversation.
upset. I just want you to answer the question and be honest about it.
I believe so. What I believe is I think that person is not aligning.
No,
Hold on.
don't give me.
I'm about to
Listen,
answer the question, bro. Listen,
I
bro.
gave you two options.
Well, I'm gonna choose a
Is
different
it
one.
morally sound or is
No,
it
see,
degeneracy?
but that's the
Do you
whole
know
point.
what
I don't think it's
Do you know
neither.
what a degenerate is?
Brownsville,
I
you don't
do.
answer
No, listen,
questions like that.
hold on. Do you know what a
No.
degenerate means?
No. The whole point that I'm trying to help you understand is we're letting you speak the way that you want to speak, and now you're trying to dictate how we answer questions, and you never answer direct questions. So
I
the
answered
wole
every direct
hold
question y'all
on, I
asked
got
me.
you, but let me respond. Let me respond to what you're saying. I believe that he is not aligning with the moral ideology of the Bible, but I think this idea that men looking at women from a sexual point of view, I actually think that's a part of men nature. If you remove the biblical complex, I think a lot of men think that way.
So you're saying that
And if you was
it's
honest,
only the men.
you
Hold
would
on,
say
listen.
that too.
That's not true. That is not true. There's plenty of men who do not align themselves with the Bible, but also have morals about them.
So
That
where do their
also,
morals come from? If it doesn't come from the Bible, people want to argue that they got these morals from nowhere. Did we look at all morals come from the Bible, biblical practice?
right?
Men,
But we all know.
before the Bible, you think men was taking what they want. They didn't have a moral compass
The
about.
Bible also says, hold on, Edomman. The Bible also says some plant, some water, but God gives the increase, right? So even
I
though,
get that,
hold
but
on.
that has
So
nothing to do
even
with
though,
us.
but listen,
Why do
what
you
I'm
think we
saying is
got
this.
commandments? Why did we
But
have
what I'm just,
commandments? Because people was unmoral. God had to literally
Edomman,
make commandments so we will be moral.
Edomman, Edomman.
So Brownsville, when you
Hold on,
tried to,
because Edomman is speaking some crazy stuff. Edomman, when Christ was hanging on the cross, right? There was a brother right next to him, right, who was not a follower, right, who was on the cross himself for committing a crime, right? But even that man had a conscious ability to understand right from wrong. And in the moment he had with Christ, he showed himself to be morally sound, right? And then Christ said, this day you will be with me in paradise, right? So what I'm saying to you, Edomman Williams, it doesn't take everybody to just totally align themselves with biblical principles in order for them to understand the ability to reason.
I got you. No, I got you. Hold on, hold
Or to
on.
have some sense of a
I
moral
got you. So,
compass.
hold on. I got you. So Brownsville, you telling me if we remove God, you telling me people will still be moral?
God has already been removed pretty
No.
much.
If we
What are you talking
remove,
about?
I mean, no.
it's plenty of
We've
people that
already removed,
remove
listen,
God that's moral.
we've already
No, it's
removed
not.
God.
Listen. Even
Edomman,
even
you
if
talking
you go
crazy,
down to
man.
their foundation, listen. You go down to most people's foundation. Their moral compass usually goes. It points back to some form of religion. Like they might not
You talk
fully. Hello, they might
we
not
talking
fully
about the
follow those
programming
things.
part, right?
Like this idea, because the whole point that I'm saying is when we start talking about, especially because what we're talking about is a man desiring to have sex with a woman, right? I don't think that he's
That's right.
immoral. Listen, I don't think a man is
No,
immoral for
we
having
were
that
not
feeling.
talking about that.
Hold on.
No, listen,
No,
That was
Edomman,
gonna be my
that's not the
question. I was
question
gonna
I
ask
asked you.
Brownville that.
Listen, that's not the question I asked y'all. What I said specifically is what Mr. Fantastic said with his own words. And I implore you, if you don't believe he said it, review the video. What he said was every woman he encounters,
he
he
think about.
has to sexually objectify her, which means that he reduces her down specifically to her sexual organs. He's not
I
worried
get it.
about her mouth. He's not
I
worried
get
about
We
that. So
caught it the
listen,
first time.
So
Is
hold
he
on, listen.
attracted to that woman?
Hold on, listen. So if every woman that Mr. Fantastic looks at, he think that he wants to have sex with that woman. I think that is natural for men to look at women that they are attracted to and have that feeling. See, the
All right,
problem
man.
is you said,
y'all not
hold on,
being
hold on, hold on. The
y'all
problem,
not
hold on.
being
Let
genuine.
me
Hey,
finish
Aaron, no,
because I
man. It
let
was a
you
great
finish.
conversation,
Hold on.
but you let this flip flop of Edomman Williams up,
All
and
right.
he destroyed the conversation. He's not
Okay,
being genuine.
yeah.
Not the
He
flip
can't
flop. I
even
think that was pretty
admit. He
sound.
can't
So
even
listen.
admit the difference between a degenerate and a morally sound person. And
Okay,
I know
that's cool.
Edomman's better than that.
You can go
I know
wherever you
he's
want to
better
go,
than
bro.
that. I know he's better
I
than that.
know I
But
can run
he's
them off.
right
But
now.
listen,
Listen.
the whole point that I was trying to help you understand is it is natural for a man to look at a woman that he desires sexually and see her and say that I like her sexually. That is a natural feeling.
All
For
right,
us to start,
all right.
hold on.
Edomman,
For us
I mean,
to let me finish,
listen. Let me
bro.
ask
I let
Aaron.
you finish
Let me
all
ask
day,
Aaron a
and
question.
now as soon as I
Let
start
me
cooking,
ask
I'm
Aaron
a
a
flip
question. Let me
flopper,
ask
and
Aaron
you
a
don't want
question.
me
Because
to finish my statement. Why you
You're
just
not
won't
being
let me finish
genuine.
my
You're
statement?
not
That's
being
all I
genuine,
ask.
man.
No, listen. I think it's normal for men to look at women
Okay,
sexually.
all right.
You know, matter of
Okay,
fact,
good.
that and you trying to argue that it's unmoral for a man to look at a woman and
Okay,
think of her
good.
sexually.
We
That is not
understand that. So now
unmoral.
let me ask Aaron a question. Aaron, Do every woman you encounter you sexually objectify?
Every woman, yeah, every woman you did, even the ugly ones, even the ones that
Be
you
the man. I'm talking to
unattracted
Aaron
to.
O now. Hold on, listen. I'm talking to Aaron O
Okay,
now.
disingenuous
Aaron O.
statement.
Are you a Christian?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you have the ability to understand right from wrong? Do you have a conscience? Do you have a moral compass?
Yes.
Checkmate. Hey, I had a good night. This was
That
a
is
great
not a
conversation.
checkmate because
Peace
you
and
add
love, man.
you narrowed him down to one religion. If he believe in God, that means that he still can have a basis of moral compass. It's so stupid. Like this, I
Yeah,
promise you.
he could be a
No,
Gnostic.
listen, no, listen, hold on, no, listen. Yeah, because y'all gotta stop letting Brownsville do this. Brownsville literally just came up and said, since he is not a Christian, that means that he still got a moral compass. Like it's like, so are we trying to say that the Muslims don't have a moral compass? Like this is crazy. It's so crazy that when we hear people say that
Look,
was the worst checkmate, the
I,
worst
I would
outro
I would
I
I
done
would
heard
argue
all
that
year.
it's a
That
lot of
was crazy.
atheists that have moral compass.
No, well, they still they can be atheists, but they still base it around. They picked it up from societal, and society has really pushed the majority of the basis of morals comes from God in our society, just in general. So even if they say they don't believe in God, through their societal experiences, they have based their moral compass around the things that already exist in a world that's kind of designed around those concepts already. So,
But that's why we got laws. We got laws because people was immoral, and they said we need to put things in place to keep people moral. This idea that a dude just wake up and say, "Ooh, I just got this moral compass from nowhere, and I'm just gonna live on these moral compass," it's stupid.
no, you know
We
what
wouldn't need
messes
no
me up?
rules if everybody just had this moral compass and like stop it. Like
No,
we need to stop.
I was trying to get to the bottom of what lies can a man tell that is so detrimental, like that you cannot prepare for or at least put some safeguards in place. He said how much money they make. If you want to stand on business, you absolutely can do that. Well, look here, I want to know where you work at. So let me know where your job is, and I'm gonna want to come and see you work there. It can sound as crazy as controlling as you want to be, but you can 100% find out if somebody has a job, if they show up to that job, and pretty much gauge how much they make in these jobs. So that's one that's out of there. I just don't. This is why I'm not so strong on the lies part as everybody else might be, because for most lies, you can kind of put some systems in place to protect you against most lies. That if you stand on business, you'll be okay.
No, but the real question we need to be asked is why, since he make money, he can trick you out your draws. Now, listen, that's the real question because you said
Because they
okay.
chose to. They
He
chose it.
lied. Listen. Because y'all just let Brownsville be up here talking. He said a man say I make $150,000 at Microsoft, and all of a sudden that gives you access to your bed. Literally, listen to how crazy
I
that
was gonna
sounds.
bring that up. I was gonna tie it, but you gotta let the man walk himself down to the lake. Okay, I can't just throw him in the water yet. You gotta walk himself there.
Yeah, like it's crazy. Like the first thing that is I hear people say is that they start talking about money and they saying that these women getting tricked out they draws because he made not because he spent 150,000. That's because he quote unquote make it. We need to teach these women to be stronger.
Women can't be tricked out they draws, my friend. They can't.
They choosing. They choosing it.
Like, let me give you the only way I would believe that a woman could be tricked out her draws is if I found a guy walking down the street that was repulsive, that she thinks is ugly, and I tell him to do this, and that, and he get her draws, then fine, you win. But most cases, the ladies are dealing with the men that they want to deal with. They're hearing what they want to hear. I can't even think of when a woman lied to me where I'm like, I can't believe she lied to me. Like, it destroyed my whole world. What kind of lie could she tell me that could destroy? I just don't understand.
I know a lie that a woman can tell you destroy your whole world.
Give me one.
It was your baby.
No, that don't work. This is what I'm saying. We got science where I don't have to worry about her telling the truth or lying about my kid. That's my point.
I get that you're saying that it's always a way to check if they're lying or if they're telling the truth.
Yeah.
I'm not arguing that point, but it is some lies that nah, you're right. I
Yeah,
can see you.
I know you don't
Shit.
want to do all that.
It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday
Brown
night.
Jr.
Shit,
He
let me
just
concede.
focus on men lying, and he just don't look at that's a human thing.
But
The majority of people lie,
but that's
especially during the
dangerous
first
though.
6 months. Yeah.
Well,
No,
it's dangerous to
no.
teach your girls that too. The teach your girls this ideology that all men are bad because that's what he was saying. I'm teaching all of them trying to trick you out your job, and it's no good men out there. What it does, is you start creating a trauma for your kids before they even hit the dating market. Like people don't understand it. You got to tell people it's good people, it's bad people out there. I don't understand why it's so hard for us to be able to be balanced.
So tomorrow's show that I do is probably gonna be short. I'm going to highlight why he has to understand the manipulation that women are capable of, and why I can make the argument that they are the best manipulators on the planet.
But Aaron, do you think that a man sexually desiring a woman is immoral? Because
No. So
that's the
Absolutely
argument that I
not.
feel like he was trying to
the
make.
thing is, in context, I understand what Fantastic is trying to say is just limitation. That means when he says I have to do it, that don't mean that you have to do it indefinite. That may just be your initial premise. For me, I like that. So that's how I first decide if I want somebody. And then, because the way he said is, that's the only way he gonna ever look at her for life. No, that can be momentarily. Like that's just what I do. Like for me to know that that's that feeling I need, and then I start to break the other barriers down. So like it wasn't in perpetuity, but I understood this point. You still don't have to do that, but I can understand people that interpret it in a way where they feel like, yeah, no, I got to do that. So it just depends. But it's definitely not. It's not a moral clause for you to say that. I don't think it's a moral clause.
Yeah, I just don't think if I looked at a woman and I sexually desired, that made me immoral. And if I didn't look at her and I wasn't sexually turned on, that made me moral. I think it might make you gay or not gay. We can argue,
That's what Fantastic said. So I think men are only lying because they feel they have to. I think people tell the truth when the truth works for them. If they're like, look, I'm hungry, and you say, here's food, they every time they're hungry, they're gonna tell you I'm hungry because they can get some food because it's working. If you are saying when I lie to her, she give me this, then you're incentivizing lies. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. You're incentivizing bad behavior. Because if every time a man told the truth, a woman gave him some ass, he'll tell the truth all the time.
100%. 100%. Matter of fact, he might be running around saying, I am the truth seeker. Like, he may change his whole life, that all he ever do is tell the truth to everybody every time. So, yeah.
You got to understand. So, we live in a world that you're punished for telling the truth and you're rewarded for lying. That's just the world that we live in. And if we want that to change, we have to get to a point where we say, okay, let me actually reward this man for telling the truth. You know, you're right. I did this, that, and the third. Instead of you blowing up and going nuclear on him, maybe you should say, man, I just really appreciate you telling me the truth. Like, I think that's what it is.
There's this song by like this group named Cherish. I'm feeling really unappreciated. So I don't know. I hate the argument about men be lying. I've been thinking to myself, women lie too, but what kind of lies is these men doing? Lying about their job, lying about their height. I'm like, so ladies, are you telling me the lies that men are telling you, there's no way you can prevent these lies from being like a real issue? Because there are so many ways if you stand on your business. I cannot lie to a woman about how much money I make if you say, let me see your pay stub.
Well, it is some lies because Charleston White. Charleston White. You never seen Charleston White live, right? Like in the comedy club?
Absolutely not.
And he talks about these lies. It's certain lies that you can tell that is manipulative and can't be fact checked. For example, I'm gonna tell you one of the jokes that Charleston White talked about.
You stealing jokes?
I'm not stealing. I'm just
Before you
informing
steal a
you.
joke, let me read the super chats that came in. Super Mayor said, "Ask him, will a judge excuse a woman for her behavior because of a man?" The answer is no. I'm sorry, you cannot blame the man for everything. Super Mayor is correct. Is Brownsville a male or a female? He is a masculine man and a leader amongst the men. Okay,
That's your friend. I just want to let you know that was your friend that did that. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not getting involved in this. L. Nixon says, "Thanks for letting me come up and join the conversation. Appreciate you, Eda Man Giz. Always great seeing you, gentlemen. Great commentary." Shout out to L. Nixon and I appreciate you coming up, bro. Appreciate you being always honest, always supporting. But I'm sorry, Eda Man. I just don't know these lies. So you about to tell me one? I hope I'm astonished by what you about to say because in my mind, I be having answers for a lot of stuff.
All right, so
And my phone about to die. I enjoy being up here with y'all fellas.
All right,
I
Giz, I
appreciate you. Oh, this is like Thursday nights, man. It's back to me and you, bro. All right. Let me tell you, bro.
Famous at this where Eda Man they say that you got famous at.
So listen, so one lie that a man can lie to, I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there that a woman cannot verify is if he got artificial dick or his real dick. Charleston, talk about it.
Okay.
If Charleston come to Charleston start talking, you gotta go see Charleston. If you ever have him in your city, you gotta go see him. Because I listen, Charleston's supposed to have been on stage for 45 minutes, and he was on stage for 2.5 hours. And they tried to kick him off stage at least 10 times, and he wasn't going for it. We got our money's worth, right? And he said it's certain things you can lie about that women can't prove. For example, a man, he stopped by the gas station. He go and get that rhino. He popped that rhino pill before he come to your house. He go ahead and give you that rhino super hard penis for the next 2.5 hours. And now you think that he Big Daddy Willie, this, that, and third. She don't even know that dick ain't even real dick.
No,
That's superficial.
That's a fair point, but you shouldn't be prioritized. This is why we in trouble now. You prioritizing that.
I just said that was a lie that they can't verify if it's that superficial dick or is it that real dick. I'm just saying, it's true. Well, how you know he did at the gas station before he came to your house?
The thing is, I'm sorry. The thing is this. Forget lying. You should not have an assumption either way. You should say, I'm going to find out if it's good or bad. I'm not going to listen to whether you're lying or not. So that, to me, you can eliminate that lie. You shouldn't be asking, is this how it's going to be? You guaranteeing victory? Is like, I will find out when I find out. So that lie could be avoided.
It can't be avoided. See, because now that could be a level of manipulated. Imagine he done hit that rhino pill. He about to take her down through that for 2 hours, and now she done had the best sex of her life on some artificial dick. I'm telling Charleston, you gotta go watch Charleston. Because when he started talking, listen, the women literally was looking puzzled in that crowd. That's like, dang, is I'm getting real dick or I'm getting artificial dick? They didn't even know. He talked about the honey pack. He talked about the Viagra. He talked about that blue chew. He talked about it. I'm just telling you.
So I kind of get it, but the thing is, if your expectations is he told you it was good, and how does he decide that? I get it, but okay, outside of that is very limited. I'm gonna guess, right? Outside of those experiences, I'm guessing is very limited.
Well, no, he was saying this because if you can get that peak of giving that woman the best sex she ever had, she's gonna be willing to do things for you, like a level of be able to. She's gonna be more vulnerable to you than she would have been vulnerable to you if you gave her the real thing.
That's a fair point. I mean, look, if that's something that tames her and you can get control over her by slanging, we call that, that's on her. Like, if that's something that can control and dictate her, that's based upon who she is. I'm sorry. It is what it is.
Well, no, but you got to understand the premise. The premise is people are having sex now. It's not that people are waiting for. Go ahead, read. You can read this.
Brownsville says the objectification of woman is further underscored by Bacon's seizing them as captives for ransom.
What?
Yeah, it's Brownsville. He probably reading some astrological, if it's phenomenal, that's that New York stuff. So I don't know. Somebody sees these. I don't know, Brownsville. I'm sorry, brother. I don't know.
I don't think the lies really matter before sex. I think the lies really matter after you start having sex. I know that sounds crazy because somebody lied to you about their job and you never slept with them. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't
Thank you.
even matter.
Thank you.
So if it come down to now you done gave them the cookies, now that lie is a lot bigger. If you
Correct.
so I think the sex is what make the lie a big or
Correct. Right. So, but the problem is, if you saying you giving somebody the SE is so valuable, then you are making the argument that the number of people that you've given it to has to be low, because there's no way you could have ran into those many valuable people. So you saying body count don't matter, while then also claiming I gave myself to you. Like it's problematic that you lied. Either it's important what you're doing or it's not. You cannot have it both ways. Either closing them legs or opening legs is very valuable and important, and a low number means that it's a higher probability that you take it very, very, very serious, and you only been dealing with men that pass your strict criteria. Or if you get up to 50 or 60 and then say, well, it don't matter. Well, then why did it matter that I lied about a job and I hit it? Shouldn't matter that much. I just hit it. It's just nothing but another number. So
well, I think the lie matters if that person did not want to have sex with him. But if they wanted to have sex with you, I don't understand. Like, because they say, okay, she wanted him and he wanted her. So them two decided that they wanted to have sex. What was said before that, I feel, have no value. If it was a lie, because what was the lie that got you out your drawers? I keep asking that question, and women never answer that question. What was the catalyst? Was it the lie, or was you horny?
The simple answer is women are trying to identify a certain type of individual, ascertain them without being overt, so that they don't offend the man and make them feel like they have motives, underlying motives to how they acquired that man. So they want to be able to get a man as a gold digger, but not actually be a gold digger. So they don't want the man with money to know I acquired you by identifying you had gold, because then you'll think I'm a gold digger. So I have to do it incognito and in a way in which I still get what I want, but you don't feel that I targeted you. Right?
Is that lying? Is that lie? Is the woman lying that she wanted for his money, but not telling him that she wanted for his money?
No, she don't. She wants to make sure he has money as well, so that when she does do what she do, she can say, well, he had money, he had this, he had all the things that I was want. It's just the truth of the matter is they are trying to get a guy without making a guy feel like he's being used or being targeted for his abilities, because men don't necessarily want that. They understand that they are going to be targeted. Like a man, the dream of a man is to get the finest woman in the world while he broke as a joke, and her have an undesigned, like a crazy loyalty to him. Men know that that's not going to happen. So
hold on. So do you think loyalty and faithfulness is the same thing?
Not necessarily.
All right. So can a woman be loyal to you and cheat on you?
With context, to a degree, I can see it in many different ways, but consistently, no. As she's consistently messing with somebody else or this and that, or a specific guy over time, no, she cannot.
So you think she would have to be disloyal to you?
Well, at some point, because then she would just have to objectify a guy, and that's typically, in women's words, they need some type of connection. She can't just revert to just objectification, according to women. So based upon what their indication, go ahead.
You thinking that women can't just fuck just to fuck?
Am I thinking that? No, I'm saying what has been presented.
Oh, they lied. We talking about lying. They lied.
Well,
women can have sex outside of having all that other stuff.
And if that's the case, if men believe that, then when women cheat, men can't make the argument that when women cheat, it's worse.
Well, no, yeah, I get they just say that because they feelings hurt the worst. But I have seen women be in the club, meet somebody that they thought was sexually attractive, that chemistry and all that other stuff y'all say went there. They was drunk, he was drunk, they had sex after the club. It was a one night stand. I think that happens in reality. Do you think that they had to have some kind of emotional connection to that dude to have sex with him?
Aaron, please tell her what we was. We was gangs. We was all gangs. All of us. She was gangs.
I think we've reached the conclusion of the Aaron O Show. I will see you guys on the next show. Please make sure you hit a like or a dislike and a comment at the end of the show. As you know, it helps me in the algorithm because I pop up when I pop up. Okay? So until next time.